Right, I think we're live.
We're live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 22 of the Bad Nerds podcast. I'm the Suffolk Ram.
I'm Bard.
Skazz,
And welcome.
are we even recording?
I hope so.
Done.
You're in charge of the recording part. Not me, so
We'll figure it out later.
Oh, are we all visible on the camera all right?
Yes,
see
we're
it from me.
fine.
Look how
We'll get complaints from our reviewers anyway shortly. Anyway, once they say, "Oh, I can't see anything," we'll get complaints soon, so we'll know if we're visible or not.
They're probably fucking happy they can't see anything.
The fucking ugly
Yeah.
faces are gone. It's amazing. Now we just have to listen to their annoying fucking
It's
voices.
probably why the audio version is more popular.
Yeah. And then there's this side of things stuff. Wait, if you're going to complain about how we look and how we sound, why the hell are you here?
Well, you could just
To complain about how we look and how we sound, and
Yeah.
that's perfectly
You
fair.
could just
Welcome to the internet.
You could just open up and just minimize it, so you can have one in the background, and you can just like do something useful with your time, like Google things.
Yeah.
It's like Bad Nerds podcast.
Yeah,
You can Google us.
you can look on the previous episode show notes and look at all the links I've put in there.
Yeah, you're working hard with that, aren't you?
It takes me many minutes.
Yeah, like, it literally takes me minutes of hard work.
Yeah.
To do
Okay.
show notes.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard work doing that. I mean, all you do is edit the bloody film, and you've got it easy.
Yeah, all I do is, pretend I know what I'm doing and press buttons and stuff.
All I
happens.
do is talk about us on Tinterwebs, and that's it, really.
See, he talks about us on the internet. I think we should sack him.
Yeah, he's the one that's getting us all our complaints.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Actually, the surprising thing is it isn't.
Because
Neither of us bad. We're fucking this
I
up.
know what's going on in the rest of the world. Everyone can't stop complaining. But here, it's like it's okay.
good. Shall we start?
Bizarro world.
No.
Properly start.
No, I'm quite happy just waffling on about bollocks. So, oh wait, I have got show notes.
I threw him at you earlier. Would you like to tell to the viewers how I threw him at him? I couldn't bother to walk over to things, so I made a paper airplane out of
Literally 3 feet away, and he just threw them at me.
Didn't fall picking my laptop,
But-
put it on the ground.
The thing is, since I haven't got my glasses, he might as well just screwed them up and threw them at me because yeah.
Well, it's Adam. It's Bard first.
Oh,
For what?
I get to start. Hooray.
Gauntlet. That's
Good.
one of those.
No, I'm saying, is it games we've been playing, or are we just going to start not saying what the thing is? That's something that you do. That's something you do, Ram.
If anyone's wondering
you
why I'm
always tell-
sitting in a huffy cross down position, by the way, it's not because I'm in a huff. It's just because I've got a
because
screwed
he
up
got
arm.
injured.
stabbed.
Yeah.
He's been in a fight.
Yeah, with a voodoo woman.
Cool. I didn't know about this.
Yeah,
She cast spelling to make you forget.
Hey, voodoo woman.
you're just not in the know, mate. You've just been left out of the loop, and you're part of it. It's bad. You're the key character.
Maybe
God.
I am the voodoo woman.
That's how it usually works in these games. Yeah, mate, there's this fucking really
That's the
nasty
twist.
bastard going around killing everyone. And then, all of a sudden you turned up and you're like, yeah, I should really sort that motherfucker out. It was me. There you go.
And they didn't even let me play the killing bit. Yeah.
Bastards.
Right, yeah, games we've been playing. And to start us off, we have Gauntlet. And you could have pitched in on this if you played it, you bastard.
Look, it's been sat there for the last fortnight.
I picked this game up for a fortnight ago, and I picked it up for 4 people, for me and 3 others. We could all play it together, and no other fuckers played it. It's just been me. I've soloed like almost the entire game, and your characters kind of level up as well. So,
Oh, so it's like the old.
you
yeah,
don't
like
level
Gauntlet
up
and
really.
stuff.
You sort of like you get sort of perks for. Like on the first level, you fight mummies, and if you kill so many of them, you get a 10% damage bonus towards them. So I'm now slightly better at killing mummies than everybody else.
Which now makes you about as useful as a used toilet roll.
Pretty much. But yeah, anyway, Gauntlet. Those of you who are oldies and retro gamers like us may remember that Gauntlet started off in arcades
Yeah, I've never heard of the 4-player arcade
in
machine.
the early 80s. Yep, there's a 4-player arcade machine. It was by Midway, I believe, the original.
Possibly.
And yeah, you had 4 characters. You could be a barbarian, a Valkyrie, an elf, or a wizard. And the basic premise was you sort of went around dungeons, you fought shitloads of monsters. You have monsters coming at you from all angles that were spawned by these little towers. And your idea is you go and you destroy the towers, try and fight off all the monsters, collect the keys, collect all the treasure. Use the keys to open the doors, get to the end of the level, and then, hey presto, you're on the next level. You just keep doing that. Basically, you
rinse, repeat until you.
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't remember if the original Gauntlet had an ending or if it was just a score.
It did,
grind.
yeah. You fought a dragon at the end, I believe, like a 3-headed dragon.
Well, then I'm too
At least
shit
on
to
the
have got
NES
that
version,
far.
you did. I've never finished the arcade version, but I've finished it on the NES, and you fight a dragon at the end.
I feel really
but-
crap.
Yeah,
I'm
there
gonna
was an
have to wait.
NES release of it, which was really good version of it for the NES. And then there were like 3 more arcade games, I think, that were. And then we had Gauntlet Legends.
I
which,
love Gauntlet Legends.
Yeah, funny enough, I started playing that in the arcade. There was an arcade in Norwich, and it was one of those first arcade machines where you could save.
Yeah.
And I had
Yeah.
a saved character on there that I'd always play whenever I went there. So that was pretty cool. And then I believe it got a PS2 remake.
That was dark.
Yeah, there was that one, but then which was Gauntlet Legends, but with more characters, basically. Right. And then there's another one. There's another PS2 Gauntlet game that slipped under the radar that apparently wasn't that good. But this one, this new Gauntlet, is more true to the very first Gauntlet than any of the other games that sort of came after it.
Is it true? Because we did mention it briefly before, didn't we?
Yes.
Is it true it's as short as people say it is?
It is, yeah. It's not very long. And the levels are the sort of the flaws. The only flaws I've had with it so far are it's not very long, but the replayability is through the roof. You'll play again and again with other people, so it doesn't really matter too much. And the levels are a bit samey. I mean, you've got 3 areas basically: sort of a tomb area, a cave, and then which is pretty much hell. You go to hell, kind of, and there's no real differentiation between those, like the levels within those worlds. They're exactly the same looking, and it gets a bit stale after a while. But other than that, if you're not expecting too much of it, it's a good game. I mean, you're only looking at paying 15 quid for it. It's not an expensive
it's not
game.
like you're spending 40 quid on it and getting 20
and
minutes
it does
out
play like an arcade game, and it's the sort of game that really, I mean, I enjoyed playing it on my own because I like arcade games. Like, as everybody knows, I sort of grew up in the arcades, and that's my kind of thing. But with friends, this game is going to just really excel. The characters now are set up in such a way, because I mean, they were a bit basic in old school Gauntlet. You could just like
pretty samey.
Yeah, they weren't much different, were they? The elf could run a bit faster, and that was about it. You know, they all had one thing they were quite good at. But in this one, they play totally differently. The warrior and the Valkyrie are up close and personal melee classes. The Valkyrie moves a lot faster. The warrior takes a lot more damage, so he's like a tank pretty much now.
Is it true that the game is incredibly unbalanced?
It's not. It's not unbalanced at all.
A lot of people have told me that if your plan is a Valkyrie or wizard or whatever, you're pretty hardcore, but the person who plays as the warrior is going to feel really shitty because they don't have anything really other than
there is right. Okay, my thing with this is the warrior is admittedly my least favorite character, but that's because I don't play warrior types like that as a rule. The thing with the warrior is he's got a higher health pool than any of the other characters. The warrior's main role is to take more damage than the other characters. He's got a spinning attack, which means he can run into the fray and just swing his axe round and take out shitloads of enemies all at once. I personally would probably find him to be the least fun to play, but if you like playing tanky characters and you're the kind of person that will run in and take the damage, I think you probably enjoy the warrior. I don't think you'd have any problem with playing as a warrior. I mean, he doesn't play much different from the Valkyrie, really, except the Valkyrie's quicker. But I have to say, of all 4 characters, I enjoyed all of them. There's not one character in the game I didn't enjoy playing. The game is still fun. The wizard is my favorite, but the wizard is extremely complex. Well, not extremely, but I think a lot of newbies would have a lot of trouble playing the wizard, or people who are sort of not used to that kind of character, because what they've done with him now is you've got 3 buttons. You've got on the Xbox controller, it would be X, Y, and B, and each button is an element. So
whilst you're on subject of controls,
yes,
have you tried playing it with keyboard and mouse?
I haven't. No, I'm playing it purely through control pad.
So I was just curious if they'd done.
I couldn't tell you. I have heard that it's hard to play as a wizard on keyboard, apparently, but the other classes aren't so bad. Okay. But this game definitely benefits from controller, because the elf, for example, plays like a dual stick shooter. You move with one one stick, and you aim with the other and shoot with the other. So yeah, as soon as you aim in a direction with the other stick, it'll automatically start shooting, which is brilliant. It's really fun. The wizard has a couple of spells that act the same, but with what he's got at the moment is the X, Y, and B buttons all represent a different element. I believe it's ice, fire, and lightning, and he's got 9 different spells. One of those spells will be if you do double tap. So if you double tap X, you've then got 2 ice elements, and you can do an ice beam, but then you can mix them. So each sort of element has its own single elemental attack, but then it has an elemental attack where you mix it with one of the others. So yeah, you get 9 different spells, and once you figure that out, once you figure the pattern out of where all the spells are, he is unbelievably good. I mean, he's the weakest of the characters, so you're not going to be running into the fray, and you're going to be wanting your warrior to do that and sort of defending you. But for example, he's got a chain lightning move that I absolutely love, because what you have to do is, rather than it just taking everything out, you have to line enemies up. So you running away from enemies, try and get sort of herd them into a line, and then blast them with this chain lightning, and it just runs through all of them, takes them all out. Absolutely brilliant fun. Then he's got like a fireball, which is good for sort of single target damage. He's got a spell where you can slow areas down, which is obviously going to benefit your allies. Yeah, I won't go too far into that because I'll ruin it. If you want to play as a wizard, you'll find out what the other spells do. But he's pretty much got a spell for every situation. And if you are sort of the sort of player that can deal with pressure, so when there's a lot of enemies coming at you, you can think under pressure, and you can get those combos in the right time while the enemy's sort of out to get you. You will enjoy playing as the wizard, because he can take out shitloads of enemies at once. But yeah, like, as I say, you've got to be fairly quick. If you're not quick on the buttons and you're not quick thinking, he probably isn't the class for you. But yeah, good class. The elf is, as I say, more like a dual stick shooter. He can dodge, which makes him utterly invaluable, especially for new players, because he can just jump out of the way if enemies are going to attack him. He can drop mines, like he could drop like a barrel in the middle of a group of enemies and blow them up. But once you've killed so many enemies with he's got a sniper move, so he can take out one enemy and do tremendous damage. Once you've taken out enough enemies with that, it unlocks an ability where he can attach his bomb to his arrow. So yeah, he can blow up enemies from a distance, and that's fairly handy. Like we've already said, the warrior is sort of your tanky class. The Valkyrie is more like a close range damage dealer, and of the characters, I think she's possibly the most fun to play, because you can just run in and wail on everything, and she attacks really quickly. She can throw a shield, she can defend, she can do all sorts of stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't say there's balancing issues, because all the characters are good at certain different things. They just, I would say, are more geared towards different experience of players. So obviously the wizard is going to be for your more experienced player, whereas the warrior might be more suited to somebody who's new, because he won't die very easily. He'll take a bit to kill, and like the elf as well, because he can dodge and he can hit things from a distance, so it gives him a bit of an advantage. Yeah, I mean, playing it online with people, I can definitely see how the different character skills will mesh together to make the game more fun. One
thing I want to try when we do play online is I've heard that the UI can be a little bit unruly. Okay. So if you're playing 4 players, the screen is going to track with the majority of the players.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't know if it like moves around.
Yeah, to be fair, it's segmented really. When you get to an area, you kind of get locked in, which is good for that reason. Like you'll come to an area and there'll be like maybe two enemy towers will spawn and start spawning shitloads of enemies. The idea being that room is filling up fairly quickly. You're going to have to take those enemies out and take the towers out quickly.
Yeah.
And because of that, you can't move too far, which is good, because it means that you're not going to be... There are areas like there's in the first... Because each dungeon is comprised of or each world, I should say, the 3 worlds are comprised of 3 bits for each level. So say you've got four levels. You do the first level. The first part of the first level is going to be just you running from areas, fighting things, basic Gauntlet style dungeon fighting. In the first dungeon only, the second level is good old death. Now, if you remember in Gauntlet, the first Gauntlet, death would appear if you take too long on a level, and then he'd chase you down and kill you. And in Gauntlet Legends, I think he came out of treasure chests and stuff.
Yes.
And you could dispel him by using magic, and that'd get rid of him. Well, now what happens is only in the crypts he only appears. On the second levels of each, or second part of each level of the crypt, he appears and he basically chases you, and you've got to run through the level and try and avoid him and get away from him while there's enemies attacking you. On that level, I can see the UI perhaps having an issue because of the fact that if someone lags, they might end up falling behind, and death might take them out, especially considering the characters all have different speeds. The wizard and the warrior are quite slow, whereas the elf and the Valkyrie can run pretty quick. So that might be a problem. But then again, I guess that kind of comes down to the players' abilities, really. If you're working as a team, you shouldn't be running ahead of the warrior and leaving him behind. You should be sort of working to keep everybody together and alive. I would have thought that would have been the best way of playing it.
That's really the thought of a tank, but no one ever plays a team these days. But no, what I'd heard was that as players start to separate, because obviously all your health bars and stuff are at the bottom side of the screen. There is no like fine line to say that you cannot walk, like to stop you from walking underneath the health bars.
Oh, okay.
So when you're playing online, let's say for example you and everyone else is fighting something up top, and then I come running down the bottom to say grab some loot or whatever.
Yeah,
I could end up finding myself disappearing under the health bars and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I guess we won't know that until we actually get together and actually play the game. So I don't know if it actually tracks with you or not.
Okay, no, I could see that being problematic, but we'll test. Tell you what, there's something for a flashback. Look, when we've actually done it, when we've actually had a 4-player game, we can come back and address that. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it does what it says on the tin. You go through, it's an arcade, the hack and shoot 'em up. You just run through and destroy everything. That's pretty much the aim of the game. Get the keys, open the doors, get to the end of the level. That's your idea. Collect as much treasure as you can on the way.
And you say it's worth the 15 quid.
Oh, easily. I mean, the fact that there's 2 or 3 styles of play, I really, really was impressed and enjoyed the fact that the elf played like a dual stick shooter and that the warriors just played like a hack and slash, because I mean that's 2 classic arcade style games in one, pretty much. I mean, you're taking Smash TV, and
I love Smash TV.
Yeah, me too. Much. Epic game. Yeah, so you're taking Smash TV and say Golden Axe and cramming them together, and that it works. It works beautifully, really well. I can see it being tedious if you're the kind of person that doesn't enjoy those kind of games. But if you're that kind of person, why the hell are you buying this game in the first place?
Yeah,
it's like the people that moan about the Muzu Dynasty Warriors games. And it's like, well, that game clearly isn't for you. Don't play it. That is a hack and slash game. You're going to be fighting hordes of enemies. And I can see how some people may find that repetitive. But, if you're an arcade gamer, that's going to be your bread and butter. That's going to be what you're going to want to do.
That's like saying playing a bullet hell shoot and then complaining there's too much going on.
Absolutely. But the glory of this being that the team element I can see working really well, especially because I've tried it on the hardest difficulty and it is just very, very tough.
Too much for one player?
No, not necessarily, because as I say, you level. So I initially thought it was going to be too much for one player, but when I got that 10% damage bonus against the mummies, I wanted to unlock the wizard's hat. So you can unlock like gear for your characters. It doesn't do anything. It's just aesthetic. And it was a wizard hat. And I'm like, I want a Gandalf wizard hat. It's got to be the first thing I get. Oh no, it wasn't the hat actually. It was the specific kind of robe I wanted. And to do it, you had to complete the first level on the hardest difficulty. The first time I tried it, I was like, oh shit, this is really tough, because I couldn't kill the units in one hit. But with that 10% bonus, I can now kill the basic units in one hit. So it's not so tough anymore. So yeah, as your level, I can see it getting a bit easier. But
we'll have to do a live stream of it.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's what we'll benefit from if we do a live stream of the game. That will be good.
I'll see if I can get Inky in, because she quite like Gauntlet.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the more people we have playing it, the more options we have to sort of people jumping in and out, really. Yeah, it's going to be good. Would you be up for it, Nick?
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, when you were talking about playing sort of a long-range character, I think you would enjoy the elf. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. Why do we want to get up close and fight? Because you might get blood on your shirt.
It's up the old dry cleaning bill.
Yeah, exactly. It costs money to get those stuff cleaned.
And I ain't spending my treasure.
Yeah,
Sound like a
no.
dwarf.
You get to the very end, say, okay, guys, you go off. You're gonna pay extra to have all that cleaned out and dried out. I'm just gonna go in the pub and meet you later. I'm spending my cleaning money on beer. See you later.
We're already sorted out right there.
Yeah.
There's a nice enemy variety as well. Throughout the different levels. I mean, the bulk of the enemies you're going to be finding are like just zombies and stuff. You get like the hordes of mummies and different things that you got to kill. But like there's giant spiders in one area, for example, that play more like a boss fight. And the first time you fight one, you just fight on its own. But then you get one that you've got to kill while you're killing hordes of enemies. And then you get mages thrown in that can do specific things. And it really does start to get difficult. And that hecticness is kind of what makes it as good as it is, really.
That's what made the old Gauntlet game.
Absolutely. And it works better in this because, as I say, the four characters all play so differently. It does give you lots of options for tactics that you can lay down. And if you've got somebody playing each of those characters that plays them well, I can see the game really being fun. Yeah, definitely. For 15 quid, you can't go wrong. Definitely.
I might take a crack at it tomorrow.
Yeah, well, no, we'll maybe do a bit of multiplayer and film it. That'll be good. Yeah, no. Anyone that's into arcade games, get it. You won't be disappointed. If you're like if you're a retro arcade gamer, you will love this game. It's absolutely brilliant for those sorts of people. Yeah, 100%.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
What's next on our list?
Well, I picked up a couple of days ago.
Now, can I just say I've noticed that you changed.
I did.
On here, and I was like, oh, hello. I wasn't expecting that. So
no, I changed because what I was playing, I only managed to play like an hour and a half of, and then this game
You've
came out.
and pulled what I did then.
Yeah, so I thought I'd change it.
Oh.
All right.
So I did have down a Mech Warrior.
Yeah, Mech Warrior 4. I was going to say,
that's Mercenaries.
That's well retro.
Yeah, I found it on I couldn't find it on my usual channel, so I found it on an abandonware site in the end.
All right.
They're supposed to get hard for it, but I've literally briefly played that. I'm in the process of trying to set up my controls properly with my joystick, so that's going to be for a future podcast. But instead, I've been playing Alien Isolation, not Installation, Insulin, or any other sort of form of inst. So
I still call it Installation.
Yeah, I've not got too far. I'm only probably about 3 hours into it.
So we will mention this game is a game you've been looking forward to for a long time.
Oh yes.
When did we mention that on the podcast?
Oh, cool. I
think it was a while back now, wasn't it?
I think that might have been pre-video, you know.
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, I think it's a long time
it's
ago.
Come up a couple of other times as well, hasn't it? It's been mentioned.
Yeah. No, it's an Alien game based on the first film, the good film.
They're both good, but I will say I like the first one best
than all the others. It's the best of the lot.
I think it's the best one.
Did you say they're better? It's better than both of them. I was going to say, wait a minute. I'm sure there was 3 of them.
There's 4.
We will.
There's a 4th
Aliens,
Alien Insurrection,
Alien 3, and I thought it was Resurrection.
Was it? Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Alien Resurrection.
There was 4. Oh my
there's 4,
god!
and there's a 5th one in the works.
I actually like the 4th one.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Michael Wincott's in the 4th one, and he's a great actor, and he plays that character really well.
I didn't
know. I thought they'd stopped them, and then they did that weird.
The only one I don't like is
crossover.
The only one I didn't like was Alien 3.
Alien 3 was really shit.
Awful. But I like the other 3. They're fine.
Alien 3 is like, okay, she spends the whole of Aliens rationing all these people. Alien 3 kills them off in the first 5 minutes.
I mean,
literally.
Alien and Aliens are the best ones. Alien is my favourite one, but Aliens is also a wicked film.
Aliens is a good film, but it holds nothing compared to Alien.
I think it's just a different film, isn't it? Aliens is a really good action film, whereas Alien is
it's a horror film.
Yeah,
it's actually a sci-fi horror film. Actually, sort of
a good tension building horror film as well.
But it's a show of Aliens. The reason I didn't like some of the later ones that they've never quite captured. The first one, the alien was a devastating creature. It was like nothing.
Yeah, they became a bit piddly, didn't they, in the later ones?
I think
I suppose because isn't the first one just like a mining ship?
Yes,
and that no one's armed.
No, they have to make their own weapons and stuff. They make their own weapons. They make their own flamethrowers and so forth on what they've got around.
And then by the time you get to like aliens and
there's actually Marines.
Then you've actually got the Marines there with heavy weaponry.
Well, all the posh gear and all their big sort of fancy guns and stuff.
Guns.
Which kind of makes
sense. But the trouble was, do you go TV tropes at all? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen the conservation of ninjutsu one?
No.
Right. Basically, there's a trope that if you face like one ninja he'll be the most badass ninja ever. If you face 20 of them, they'll all have a 20 for the power of the first one, because the same amount of ninjutsu spread between all of them. Basically, that's what leads to aliens. The first alien was really tough. Really, I mean, I think the first one would have really fucked up a load of Marines as well, but then they just threw him at them in the second one, which I see what they're trying to do, but I still think the first was a better film than a lot. That made the aliens scary. The second
Aliens,
one,
stop trying to be ninjas.
yeah, pretty much.
Stop trying to be ninjas.
And it's proper sort of factual side, because you never actually saw the alien, apart from the very end, full shot of it. It was all very brief glimpses of it.
I still love that Geiger design. That is some scary stuff.
Ripped off in loads of games as well.
Oh yeah.
If you look at on the case of Contra and on the box of Contra,
oh yeah,
stuff like that, like all kinds of games. You just got like just out of nowhere.
Sorry, but the first thing I thought of was the pizza aliens in Ninja Turtles.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Christ, yeah.
Ninjas and aliens there. Look. Come on.
There you go. Perfect. So you play as Amanda Ripley. Amanda Ripley is Ellen Ripley's daughter. So in the film, first one, she mentions that she's got a daughter. By the time the second film comes out, spoilers for a film that's nearly 30 years old, she's basically got back to sort of space, but after driven to space with Ellen Ripley as, and her daughter's dead. So the question is, what happened to her daughter? We don't know. So you play as Amanda Ripley, her daughter, in the film, in the game. And the basic storyline is there's like a space station on the Outer Rim, by a company called Sergeson. And they find the Nostromo, the ship from the first Aliens, flight recorder. And they obviously send a message to Raylan Unity, the corporation that owns the ship, saying, we found your flight recorder, who say back, okay, don't touch it. It's our corporate right. We're going to come retrieve it. So the company basically pick up people to go get it, and they come and find a man and say, do you want to come along? Because obviously, bit of closure, it's your mother and so forth. So they take her along with her. And they get to the ship.
Might be a bit of a laugh, you know.
Yeah, a bit of fun. So they get there. In the first part of the game, you start off on a nice little ship. It takes a long time to actually get going the game, which is quite nice. It really sets the scene quite nice. I quite like that. Long story short, you get to the space station. You see it's been damaged somehow because basically the station is being shut down. It's on its way of being closed off. Everybody's being cleared out. There's hardly anyone left. There's obviously still quite a few because it used to be a bustling station. Now it's a lot less. And it's being shut down. Everybody's being cleared out. But when you get there, it's clearly been damaged by something. So you sort of have to spacewalk across to the process. You get separated from your colleagues. You get sort of sent because of an explosion. You'll get sent. You just barely make it into the ship. And so you start the game with absolutely nothing. No gear, no equipment, nothing, because you've just been banned there. Then as it goes on, I'll see you encounter humans. And at first, it looks like you're just fighting the humans. You gradually pick up equipment. Like the first bit, you get like a wrench. But you soon learn that things are going wrong because you find people have been killed quite gruesomely. And then you hear about this monster that's roaming the corridors. You can guess what the monster obviously is. I mean,
Cookie monster.
Yes. There's basically... You've got three sort of enemies. You've got humans, who are obviously just regular people, who are trying to either some are forming like gangs, some are trying to actually escape. They all want trying to escape, but they've got nowhere to go, so sort of like defending themselves. Because there's this creature, the alien, roaming around the ship, killing everybody, and picking them off one at a time. They're terrified of it. They all are scared of it because most people don't see it before they're dead. You've also got these simulants, which are basically androids. But they're really cheap ass androids. They look like mannequins painted blue. They literally have no. But what's creepy about them, obviously going to be the uncanny valley here. What's creepy about them is the fact that they are painted blue, but they still speak perfectly naturally.
They look like Pete Burns.
Yeah. So you go up so they'll speak to you, and there's one early on where basically you say, "Oh, I need to get to communications upside this restricted." Well, if I'm over in there and basically as you walk away, you just hear it say under its breath, as it were, I wouldn't if I was you. And basically, so they're really natural, which really freaks you out because they're such disjoints. And of course, eventually you come across the alien, and it's terrifying. I literally, the first time I encountered it, it's sort of, there's a scripted bit where you first encounter it. I daren't move after I didn't know where it gone. I thought, oh, crumbs. Because it's funny, actually, because I've not actually really had to escape from it or have any combat with it, but it just looks so imposing. They've done a real good job of making it. You hear it stomping about, look, and it's so nimble.
I'd seen some press coverage of it, and when you actually see the alien, the thing that gets you isn't necessarily how it looks, It's how it fucking sounds.
Yeah.
Every single footstep, you get a chill run down your spine. You're like, oh, shit, it's here.
And what's really creepy is the fact that it just is so nimble. So most of them just stalking around the level, just sort of one moment. Then all of a sudden, just suddenly go run into a vent, and that's it. You've lost it. It's that sudden burst of speed you're not expecting. It really throws you. And from what I gather, there's a bit of confusion. I'll find out it's gone. It's either got learning AI, so it learns what you do to avoid it, and it then works out counterploys, so you have to actually adapt all the time to avoid it, or it's got AI that unlocks as time goes on. It's not entirely clear what it does yet, but I'm sure as more people play it, they'll be able to work out what it does. I'd imagine from prior experience, it probably unlocks routines as it goes along. I mean, I haven't played a great deal of it, so I'm not sure. I mean, best way to describe it is last year I played Ninja Machine for Pigs, and the same feeling of fear I felt when I was playing that, I'm feeling playing this.
I would imagine more so, though, because you said that in a Machine for Pigs, everything kind of seemed like it was there, the threat was there, and then you realised nothing was going to...
The threat failed the second I got killed by one of the creatures.
Yeah.
And the same thing might happen in this one. Suddenly the alien gets me. It's like, it's funny. It's the fear of knowing it could do something to me, but exactly what, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it could be the second it kills me, I'll lose all fear of it, which is what happened to Machine Foods. As soon as I got killed by one of the creatures, I didn't worry about them anymore. The fear, the sort of, the
fear of the unknown is gone.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen.
What I'm saying?
You see that jump scare screen, and that's that.
And then I reload the save game, and off I go again.
Kill you in different ways. That'd be awesome.
Well, it's quite clever. So it's they've really obviously thought about it. So the atmosphere is very like the original film especially. They've obviously based on it. So all the technology is based on. They've said, okay, let's forget about making it look like futuristic technology that we have now. Let's base it on the film's technology. So everything's still like running on old CRT monitors and stuff. It's really
for sure, because back then that was the future.
Yeah, it was. So it's very much based on even the way all the interfaces works.
It's a love story to the
series. Definitely. You could tell people who play it's got all the original music in it. All the levels how use the music. Even the very first, even the top menu screen is a throwback to the first film, where you see at the very start of the first film, you see the Nostromo in the distance coming around a planet. That's the menu screen.
See, what makes me chuckle, right, is that this game was being made at the same time as
Colonial Marines.
Yeah, and there's another little bit of footage of the devs, and they're like, yeah, we saw all this stuff going on about Colonial Marines, and everyone was like, oh god, this game sucks so hard.
Gearbox
we want a
suck.
game that's like this. And then the dev team behind it were like, oh man, we were getting so excited because we really wanted to just say something about it, because the game that everyone wanted was the game that we were working on. But
it was, that's exactly right. That's what
I like that. That's a good old kick in the face to Gearbox.
It is basically true. Everybody, all the games in the past, just sitting the aliens and thought, well, based on the second film, because that's what
I was going to say. Most of the games that I've played based on.
I think that they all have, haven't they?
You've got your big old beefy guns and
As
I say, actually saying that though, Alien 3, even though it was the worst film, SNES game is awesome. SNES game of Alien 3, very good.
So the only good from Alien 3 is a SNES game.
Alien Trilogy was a good game.
It was all right.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the voice acting for Ripley was terrible.
People don't play games for voice acting.
Yeah, but she made a really butch. She gets to a bit where she gets the she gets the alien spaceship and she goes, "Let's finish this." I was like, "Yeah, okay." She does. She sounds stupid.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. But it's a okay. The cat's got mad. There's an alien in the room.
Kill it. Run.
It's very. It's a very visual game. Everything happens generally in the game screen. So things like when you want to open and it's all tied to the keyboard and controls nice. So when you want to open a door handle, which you push down, you have to grip it with the mouse and then push the down key on your keyboard to open the door, or to unlock a bolt, you have to push it to the left. It's really cleverly done like that, and it makes it feel. And
I'm just imagining it controlling like Octodad. If you fail to do the door, you just go fall through it.
But I can see it's also
ragdoll effect. That's what it needs. A ragdoll.
I can see how it's also built tension, because I can imagine it's going to be a bit where I'm going to have to unblock a door when there's the alien about, and I'm going to literally have to run up to it.
Can you imagine it?
That is what they're trying to do.
The
obviously.
ragdoll sheet. Oh shit! The alien's coming quick.
That's a mod.
Minority Report style.
That's a mod.
Dresses up like a clown.
That would be brilliant.
There is actually, you know,
if I ragdoll off this balcony and fall to what would normally kill me, but I ragdoll it until we fine, I'll get away.
It makes you now making me think of
They need to make this. We need to make a game about a superhero whose superpower is he's got no bones and he just flops about everywhere.
You made me think now of Goat Simulator, because Goat Simulator you have one which basically enables ragdoll. So actually you can just jump at people, then now one this floppy goat just flies to the end, takes them all out.
I'm gonna have to play Goat Simulator now.
Goat Simulator, Alien Isolation. Goat Isolation.
That would be actually kind of terrifying. Beady-eyed little buggers.
Yeah. So this big stompy alien says, meh, and then just get headbutted by a goat. That'd be more terrifying, actually.
Bards are like, yeah, we've got to make a thing about a superhero. And all of a sudden I have thought of the newest, most awesome superpower. It's something that's so rare these days, it could be considered a superpower.
Intelligence?
Close.
Common sense ain't so common.
Got it! Common sense.
Really ain't that common, is it?
Oh, I was going to say my common sense is tingling. Yeah, moving on.
Well, I mean, it's full of neat little ideas. So I've mentioned the aforementioned, you know, it's be very visual. You get to see everything move around, and so forth, and you have to. Also, you've got your little hacking tool in there as well. What's nice is that all the hacking, there's different hacking games, so you don't do the same game every single time. There's like different versions of it.
Okay. That's cool.
So every door, you when you get to every door, you might get used to doing one game, then all of a sudden you'll get to dawn, it's different. It's like, oh god, I've got to rethink. You've got to actually think what you've got to do differently.
So it's not like the old school games. That's like one of them like water puzzle things. You have to get from one side to the other.
You're thinking of Bioshock.
I don't know.
That was the.
I hated that game. Anyway.
But no, it isn't like that. No, it's got there's one where you've got like it shows you like a single shape, but it's made up of 3 sub-shapes, and you have to select the 3 sub-shapes out. What's quite cool is you can't just literally walk door and hack it, you have to tune into the door.
All right.
So there's like device you have to like move the mouse, which moves the dial to tune in. So that's stressful because you have to try and find the frequency of the door before you can hack it. So
just ragdoll through it, mate.
yeah, you can. No, they're very tough doors.
Steel door.
They're very tough doors. There's other bits like these rewire panels, which basically allow you to affect control of a certain each area. So you can do things like switch off cameras, unlock doors, disable the air system if you want to.
When you said switch off cameras, I was going to say, what the fuck is that going to do against an alien? And I remember, there were humans there.
The
aliens just not
the humans. It's the androids you worry about, because the androids connect to the computer system called Apollo, and the Apollo sees you, it calls the androids to come get you.
Bastards.
Yeah, basically it sounds like you're going.
I'm going to become like a really nasty, hateful bastard towards all robots now.
It's got a really, I love that they've spiced up, so you're not all, because I think if you're always fighting the alien, or not fighting, escaping the alien,
it's going to wear thin.
It would do. That's my only concern is, am I going to say, well, I don't know what this game is, but am I going to be like 10 hours in and be bored of it?
Does the alien like fuck up the androids if it comes into contact with them?
I've not seen it come into contact with androids. It does fuck up a load of humans though.
Because that'd be pretty cool. I mean, that would lead to some good strategies. If you're getting hunted by both of them, you lead them into each other. That would be pretty neat.
I think it would absolutely rip them to pieces, because it is also meant to be the thing of the game, and it's so imposing.
You'll have to get back to us on that one, like Flashback or something.
I will do once I finish it. I do want to. That's my only concern. Is it still going to be scary 10 hours into it?
So, question that doesn't necessarily relate to the game or your experience of the game. So, other members of your family are console players.
Yes.
Are they going to be playing it on console?
They wouldn't
all?
play that game.
No.
No.
So no one else in your house is interested in.
No, they wouldn't do the. It would be nice, but no, I don't think they would do the.
So I was just curious how well the mechanics change for control.
I don't know. I'd be interested. I mean, they might do, but they might not. I don't know if they would do the horror of it. I think they'd get a bit too scared of it. I don't think they'd like it. So, okay. I must admit, I do find I can only play in probably about an hour and a half chunk. Then it gets just too much. These sort of so far, just psychically, because when it's your area, you know, because it basically moves around the vent system, so it can just pop out and disappear pretty much anywhere's a vent, which means that you can disappear into a vent and then be behind you before you realise it. So it's just that constant stress. You have to stop after all because it gets too stressful to play it.
Oh, fair dues.
I found so far anyway.
It sounds like me and Final Fantasy X, to be honest.
Just commentate to yourself in funny voices. You'll be fine.
People think it's a
That alien ain't gonna get me, boy. I know you're up there in them vents. I can hear you, you bastard.
Tell you something else I like about it is that it gives you the objectives it gives you. It's a bit like, in the old school games, they just give you an objective. Say, okay, do this. But they wouldn't give you any idea how you do it or where you go for it or what you do. Whereas I've tends to newer games that everything has like do this, okay, now do this, and it's all hand-holded the way through. This doesn't. Literally, for the first 4 levels, your objective is to contact your ship, and you've got to figure out how to.
Have you got set stages?
Yes, there are, but they're really cleverly hidden. I didn't realise they were set stage until I noticed that I was getting achievements for completing the missions.
Oh, okay.
I reckon you go back to them because there's a lot of areas where you need tools to get into, which I haven't got yet. So I haven't got the plasma torch, iron torch yet. So I'm assuming I go back to those areas and can go into them.
See, now this is something right.
It's got like a Metroidvania element to it. Then maybe
I want to know, and this I must know before I decide whether or not it's actually worth me playing. Is it going to be one of these games where it's like, right, I'm now, 2/3 of the way across the ship, and then now because I've got the tool I want, it's just going to warp me back to that stage I was at before?
I can't tell you. I'll find out. I'm showing through course.
That would just click in my head, and I just have to take time.
There are these transit stations you can go to, which allow you to sort of move between. You can select which area you want to go to and it calls a vehicle to come take you. But that takes time to get there. So if you're trying to escape the alien, you've got to, and of course, anything that makes noise attracts it. So you might go there, make a loud noise, have to go run, hide somewhere while you're waiting for your transport to come get it. Then when the alien gets there, quickly run behind and get into it. So I think it's also everything's designed to solve. There's a lot of risk rewards in it. Even like the motion tracker you get, the motion tracker I've just picked up makes noise when you're using it. And one nice little feature of it is that when you've got it, when you've got motion tracker up, a bit like in real life, if you look at a screen say I'm looking at this laptop now, everything else is blurry because I'm focused on the laptop. Everything else around me is blurry, so I can't quite see it. And then obviously if I focus on you, the laptop's blurry. They've replicated that. So we have the motion tracker up. If you've got it, you're looking at the motion, everything's blurry, so you can't quite make out what's going on around you. And so you'll rely on this, and of course it makes noise. So if you're too close, if you think, the alien must be around here, someone bring it up and you're too close to it, it's going to hear you. So it's all risk reward. Everything about it is risk reward, which they've obviously really worked hard to work. How can we build the tension? That's what I think is going to do it. But I say I don't know. I'm just hoping it keeps going. I'm not going to get fed up with it. It's a bit like Machine Poop was just the right. It was 6 hours long, which was just the right length. I didn't get bored of it, which is good. It could have easily gone too far the wrong way, as it were, and that it was just the right length to not let me get fed up with it. That's my only concern of Aliens at the moment, but I'm hoping it keeps the pace. So far, it's looking very promising. Yeah, for sure. I'm only about 3 hours in, so it's only really just started getting going. So hopefully, by the time I'll getting close to completing it for the next one. I'm also going to do a little video of it at some point. I'm recording version. I'm going to do a little video of it as well in the next few days once I've got a bit more decent.
Yeah, for sure.
More further into it.
That'd be cool. Looking forward to it.
Nice one.
Yeah, excellent. Bard.
Right. Yes, the other game I've been playing, I've actually put a review of on our website. I've actually taken the time to write something. Whoop-de-doo. Is Freedom Planet. It's been out a little while now, I think, but I waited to pick it up. I just fancied getting it, so I was like, I'll grab that because I enjoyed Shovel Knight and I needed another 2D platformer to play.
Which, can I mention, Shovel Knight is possibly coming out in EU on the Wii U.
All right,
soon.
It has taken its time.
On the shop.
Cool. And where I spoke about Shovel Knight before on the podcast and said, as it being a sort of homage to 80s NES sort of titles, 8-bit games, Freedom Planet is very much a homage to Sega Genesis, Mega Drive sort of era games.
When I looked at a video of it, it reminded me a little bit of Gunstar Heroes.
Yes, it does. There are very big elements of Gunstar Heroes in it. Like, it isn't just like, because Sonic is the game that obviously emulates the most. Apparently, it was originally going to be a Sonic-style game, but then they decided to add more stuff to it. So rather than it being just some Sonic fan game, it got turned into what it is now, which is good because what it is now is brilliant. It's very much like a number of Genesis games or Mega Drive games rolled into one. There's a bit of Gunstar Heroes in there. The bulk of the gameplay is like Sonic. There was another game that I mentioned in the review that it was similar to, but it's even got a little bit of Mega Man X in there. Because there's two characters you play as well. There's three characters you play as, but you start off with two of them. You've got Lilac, Carol, and then the later character is Miller. And Carol has a wall jump like Mega Man X, so you can kind of get around levels like that with her. Whereas Lilac plays more like a Sonic character, and that seemed to work better from what I was playing so far. The game it flows better with that character because the game is predominantly like a Sonic game, but. It's an absolutely stunning looking game. Did you watch any of it like in motion? And
no, I think I just saw the trailer on Steam.
So okay.
I mean, that's why I just got the click there.
The trailer was what sold me on it, actually. I thought that trailer was really good. It like gave me an idea of what I was getting, and it had a bit of a Bucky O'Hare feel to it. Like it made me think of, because they show you bits of the story, don't they?
Just like what you talking about, like game or series.
Oh, the series. Yeah, the series. Yeah. Yeah, like it has like a very 80s, everything about the game is very 80s, early 90s. It's got that kind of early 90s cartoon feel to it. When like I suppose you had lots of anthropomorphic characters and sort of things like at that time, because you had the Sonic cartoons as well, didn't you? But Bucky O'Hare definitely sprang to mind because the whole idea of the game, being that the characters you're playing as are these sort of anthropomorphic creatures that live on this planet, and the planet gets invaded by an alien overlord who's a bit of an insectoid sort of character, and he's got an army of robots, and he takes over the throne by killing the king, who is a panda, and then just need to be mentioned.
I'm guessing he had no heirs.
Then he makes the heir to his throne into a slave by mind controlling him. But then there's like a second heir as well, the younger son, who becomes a bit of a rebel, and you fight him a few times. He's one of the sort of the sub bosses you have to get into combat with. But yeah, the actual game itself plays mostly like Sonic, but some of the battles are a bit more like Gunstar Heroes, especially in the way the graphics look. Like, I don't know, the way they've set the bosses up reminds me of the way Treasure used to create some of their bosses, because I remember they were like pretty revolutionary, weren't they, Treasure, for the time they came out, and some of the bosses do look like the Treasure bosses. Alien Soldier as well, if you've played that.
I think I have.
It was like a boss rush game pretty much, and some of the bosses in that game look spectacular for the time. I don't really want to go too much into this because of the review.
Yeah.
Because, like, obviously, if the review,
there's already a review up on the site.
Yeah.
We'll link to that in the show.
Yeah.
Sure. Check out the review.
Don't want to spoil it too much, but yeah, it's, as I say, it's a homage to games from that era. If you like Genesis games, it is pretty much a game to play because, yeah, if you were enjoying the Sonic games in your youth, this game is going to make you nostalgic for those games. Soundtrack, the look of the levels, just everything brings me back to that kind of period.
Two things, not to derail what we're going on about in the podcast, but first off, have you ever played the Japanese version of Gunstar Heroes?
No.
Right. Did you find the Gunstar Heroes that you've played, the European and US version, did you find that story was a bit kind of...
Yeah, it was evident that there was something lacking, that they hadn't put it across properly and translated it well.
It's a different story.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
different story. So, if you're a fan of Gunstar Heroes and you've only played the European US version, play the Japanese version, find a translated version, because the story actually makes sense.
Okay, I was going to say, because in the European version, they're all brothers, aren't they? Red, blue, and green.
Yes, but it turns out that Gunstar Red and Blue have actually been locked in stasis. And is it Brown, the doctor?
Yeah.
Whatever, he isn't actually related to them at all.
Okay.
They've all been locked in stasis with gold and silver.
Oh, okay.
So... yeah, I'm not gonna explain the story. I would just really recommend going to do it.
That's interesting.
From what I understand, Gunstar Green isn't even a member of the. Or is he? I can't remember now.
Because in the English story, he's like rebelled, isn't he? He's been mind controlled, and that's why
I can't actually remember what.
And then
he
sort of changes, doesn't he, towards the end and becomes
with
good
Seven
again.
Force.
Yeah.
I can't actually remember the exact story right now, but I'm not going to spoil it. If you haven't played the Japanese version, play the translated version.
There are bosses in this game that remind me of Seven Force, actually. So
I love
Seven Force is a very cool idea, very, very good idea. Did you ever play Guardian Heroes?
That was on the Saturn, wasn't it? No, I haven't.
That's cool. Some of the enemies from Gunstar Heroes are in that, which is interesting.
The end boss. As a casual
which
boss.
I thought was quite neat.
But actually, I might have done it because I might have played it actually. Now that you mentioned it,
it is evident that the guys who made this game love Genesis games because everything about it just screams Genesis.
Well, the last thing I want to throw out of the second point, seeing as you mentioned Sonic.
Yes.
Am I the only person that realizes that Sonic the Hedgehog isn't that fast? And those games were not very fast. In fact, they probably played slower than the average Mario game.
In some ways, yeah.
In all ways, like the first stage of any Sonic game is the only stage that Sonic can move at any real speed, and then every other level is designed
some of the later
so
ones do.
That you're
Freedom Planet isn't like this, funnily enough. Freedom Planet does give you more areas where you can move quick, which is good.
You might as well say that this game is what Sonic was supposed to be.
Believe it or not, I prefer it to Sonic games. I think it is better.
It's not hard. Sonic games. People have been saying that Sonic games have sucked over like the last decade.
Yeah, but I mean, the original Sonic games are good. The first three were good.
Sonic 1 sucked. Sonic 2 was alright. Sonic 3 was okay.
Sonic 2 was great, man. I love Sonic 2. That was good.
Sonic and Knuckles was alright. I didn't mind Sonic Adventure too much, but then
they were good.
The last one that I thought was actually really good was Sonic Generations. If you've ever played that, that's actually a pretty good Sonic game. But pretty much, I think that's the best Sonic game out ever. Full stop.
Yeah.
And every other Sonic game, including the Genesis one,
cool.
Balls a bit. Maybe because seriously, like no more than a year, 2 years ago, I'd have said that Sonic was better than Mario. But going back in time, both of the main mascots really suck dick.
Yeah, I think the main mascots aren't as good as a lot of other games. One thing I really was gutted about, and this is another game that Freedom Planet reminds me of a bit, is did you ever play a game called Ristar?
Yes.
Roystar.
Yes.
That was like the game that was to replace Sonic because it was Sonic Team's next thing. And it was bloody beautiful. For a Genesis or Mega Drive game, it looked fantastic. I couldn't believe when I played it.
It's on the little stretchy arm.
Yeah. I couldn't believe when I played it. It was a Mega Drive game. The graphics and the music and everything about it was fantastic. That was the only game he ever got. And then they dropped him. And I just thought
he's a mascot in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transfer.
All right, is he? Oh, that's cool.
He's the little flag wavy geezer.
See, and it's sad that those games have now just disappeared. And because all the Sonic games that have come out since are pretty naff, to be fair. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of Sonic games that much anyway. I do enjoy some of the earlier ones, but I really did like that game, and it's just disappeared into the ether. And I don't know, I think that this game, I think it's better than Sonic. Like, the storyline's good as well. Like, if you're not just going through the levels, you are following a direct story. The characters are interesting because, like cartoon characters, they're kind of adolescent. They're like innocent characters. They're not cut out to be in the situation they're in. Like, essentially what's happening is there's a war taking place and they kind of get pulled into it, and being sort of young and passionate, they want to get involved and help people, and it just seems to be like a bad idea because these guys are nasty, and that's pretty cool. It
reminds me of something Chronicles on PlayStation 3. We said
Valkyria Chronicles. That's a good game.
That's kind of just the way you were explaining the story.
Yeah, because they're all youths, aren't they? They just get caught up in a war situation.
And because we're dribbling on about the Genesis and Mega Drive, and I know it's not in here, I'm not actually going to go on about it in any kind of great detail. PS Solo.
Yeah.
It's out now. Right, the PS Solo HD has finally been released.
On my Steam wish list.
It's
I need to pick up at
15 quid on Steam. It's on practically every platform under the sun right now. I've actually picked it up 3 times now. Still not had a chance to properly play it. I just want to say...
You know it's a good game if you pick it up that many times.
I really like Watermelon. I really do like
I bought Mirror Massa twice.
I buy a lot of games multiple times, depending on if I like them. I mean, I bought it on the Ouya, the day I found out it came out on the Ouya. And then I had trouble with one of my memory sticks in the Ouya, so then I went and bought it on Steam, because I couldn't tell where I was going to be sat to play it. And I was like, well, hang on a minute, I've already got it twice on the Dreamcast, so I actually own that game 4 times. But just, talking about a Genesis game, I just want to say, when you looked at the Kickstarter for Pier Solar to see the, like, oh, hey, here's the graphics we had in the 16-bit version, the Genesis version. Here's what we've done for the HD version. They kind of show you like the screenshots or whatever.
All right.
Does not do it justice in comparison to actually playing that fucking game and toggling the little switch in the menu that says HD or 16-bit. Just to see the, like, because I was, it doesn't look much different from the, what's it called? They've just changed the character sprites and stuff. And then I flicked the switch back. I was like, holy shit, is that what it really looked like?
Yeah.
Can you do it on the fly, or do you only do it in the main menu?
No, you just press the item menu in the game, and then somewhere down the bottom it's got...
When they remastered Monkey Island, they did the same thing. You could actually switch between the old school graphics and the new school graphics at will.
I love it when they do that.
Yeah.
With games, which is apparently... Has anyone kept track of the Master Chief Halo collection? They're re-releasing Halo 2, the Vista launcher on Xbox One. Apparently, the reason it's not going to play at 1080 60p, the only game that isn't going to play at 1080 60p being Halo 2, is because they're going to do what they did with the old Halo Anniversary Collection, where you'd have 2 engines running at the same time. So you'd have the original Halo engine, and then the kind of remaster, very pretty looking engine.
Yeah.
And then you could kind of swap between the two. The reason that Halo 2 isn't going to go 1080 60p in this one is because they've got the old engine running at the same time, just in case people want to swap back. Am I the only one that thought that was kind of a janky excuse for not being able to?
That's a bit stupid, isn't it?
Is it?
If the rest of the series is running in that, then they should just stick to it.
Or is it a case that the system can't? They designed it that way, so you can switch between the two, and the system, the Xbox simply can't handle running the 2 engines.
Yeah, they're saying it can't, but I mean, come on. You can run Halo 2 on a fucking toaster.
I have to admit, I quite enjoyed Halo 2.
The Xbox One is basically a toaster and a bit of a...
But given I know how complicated games when they're running are, I can semi-see where they're coming from, to be fair.
No.
But to be fair, the Xbox One is like sort of 10-year-old PC tech, so...
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's not like the Wii U.
Get a PC.
I am being sarcastic there when I say
it just made me think of Don't Smoke. Although Smoke, when they done the in The Simpsons, when they done the subtle advertising.
Oh, I remember that one.
Or was it in Family Guy? And it was Family Guy, isn't it? Where it's got smoke every 5 seconds. Subliminal messaging. Get a PC. Get a PC.
Buy a PC.
Just gonna have that like I'm just gonna layer that in the background of the audio.
PC.
Put it in reverse to a random beat.
Yeah, backwards masking.
Yeah, that's
put it in reverse to like the Windows opening music. Backwards.
And what was it I heard a while ago? Speaking of kind of random music and tunage that doesn't seem like it fits anyway. Back to the Future NES, the music is actually when you slow it down, it's actually a song from the film, so it makes sense. And also the little menu for the GameCube when you turn it on.
Yeah.
Where you've just kind of got that random tone going in the background.
Yeah, it's the Famicom music, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
Something like that, like the Famicom Disk System launch sound. If you were to speed it up, it is actually...
What is it with all these game devices and things recently where they're just like, okay, let's just use old music or...
You say it recently, the GameCube is like 1 million years old.
I was interested to find that like the PlayStation startup is still like the most nostalgic startup for a system for people. Like, I mean, I really loved it. That whole sound when the PlayStation starts something like that. And then I was reading
the noise. You mean?
No, it's a bit more than that. There's a bit more to it.
That's the PlayStation 2 one, I think. That was a...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The PlayStation 1 was just really good. And I just remember finding on YouTube a video of the startup. Loads of people commenting like, this is the most nostalgic startup of any system ever. It's like the best.
Buzz and, that wasn't like a buzz, but you know what I mean. Like
and then it had sort of like the doo-doo-doo-doo bits in it. Yeah, that was really cool.
I don't know why, but I always liked the starting up a Neo Geo.
Oh yeah,
was it? I think it was Neo Geo. I like the start of that.
So
the Dreamcast one was nice as well.
I was like the Mega Drive Sega.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, apparently, I could be completely wrong here, but apparently half of the data on the Sonic 1 cartridge, or it might have been Sonic 2, was actually just that intro. The voice sample for that intro.
I could believe it because obviously it's a lot of voice.
Yeah, way back then, that would be pretty hardcore to
I could
put in
play it
there.
then.
So just imagine all that data that was wasted on EA Sports cartridges.
It's in the game.
Exactly. Oh my god.
Or you
Yeah.
got EA Big as well. I know quite good. You got EA Sports and EA Big. EA Sports Big. SSX Tricky.
EA,
Oh yeah. I was going to say that didn't live very long, did
EA
it?
bugger off.
It's in the game, don't you know?
So EA started off so much promise.
They used to be good, man. Road Rash, good times.
They got took over by people who are more interested in making money than making games.
Didn't the guy who founded EA, didn't he make or he was behind the 3DO at one point and then the new
I don't
one
know.
or something like that?
This is going to be a lot of flashback notes we're generating.
Yeah, well, that's something to do, really. It's something for us to look up. We have to get to research.
I need to call this podcast the Flashback Podcast because that's like the biggest
Episode
section.
22.
The flashback.
Freedom Planet just turned into us talking about other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's like I haven't played anything over the last fortnight.
No,
I've been too
he's
busy.
nothing new. I bet you haven't been Euro trucking either.
No, I haven't actually. I haven't.
Well, you can now properly.
I can now. So what people don't realize is Nick is referencing the steering wheel that he's lent me. It's sat behind me because I did try and play again. I just found that was winding me up too much.
That should make it
with the
easier.
keyboard controls
I've got my G27, £170 spent on a steering wheel
for Euro Truck.
for Euro truck.
Which actually I will be coming back to mentioning later on. Just someone reminded me.
Something for you to all look forward to is Euro truck.
Cool. What are we jumping ahead to now?
Stuff looking forward to.
Me again, isn't it?
Yes.
All of it.
All of it is me. Oh, fuck's sake. Right.
Get talking, son.
Right. The first thing on the to-do list, things I'm looking forward to, is Hotline Miami 2.
Wasn't Hotline Miami like...
I'm not sure. See,
that
I
the
wasn't sure
original?
if I spoke about it on a prior podcast. I don't think I did.
No, we've mentioned. I don't think I've done a separate bit on
okay,
it.
well, I'll explain what Hotline Miami is then for people who aren't in the know before we start talking about Hotline Miami 2. Hotline Miami was basically an indie game that came out for the PC and
Looked
then
like Grand
for
Theft Auto
consoles. It's not. No, see, a lot of people think this when they look at it, but it's not at all. The basic idea is...
I meant top-down wise, anyway.
Yeah, it's top-down, but it doesn't play like Grand Theft Auto.
No, it's...
Yeah, it's interesting. The sort of the loose story, I won't go into it too much because it'll ruin it, is you're a bit of a shady customer. You don't really sort of get much background on your character, but you know, he's a bit of a dodgy guy. He gets calls from this Hotline Miami, and they send him on errands that sound like harmless errands when you get them. Like you pick the phone up and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we've got a cookie delivery. We need to go deliver cookies to this place. Yada yada. Drop them off here. You'll get your payment when you come back." And then you get a box in the mail, and it's got a chicken mask in it and instructions on this building and what's going on there, and I think a gun. So the basic idea is that this hotline is taking people in and making hitmen out of them, and they have to go to certain places and do hits. And so you sort of, the basic idea of the game was you get levels that are, you kind of have to either plan your way through, but there's a bit of recklessness involved as well. You die in one hit, it is top down, but you sort of run through the levels and you pick up weapons and you use them and try and take out everyone in the level.
Down doors and like splat people with baseball bats
and everyone's out to get you. Basically, there's lots of guys in the level, so you'll be going into like mob HQs and killing all the mobsters in there. That's the idea. And yeah, you wait behind a door for someone to walk past you. You can club them with the door, knock them out, and then come around the door and strangle them to death. Then like you got to make sure that there's no one else around though, because obviously if there's more than one, you're screwed pretty much.
I have heard that the actual trick to playing it well is to just run and go and be absolutely mental with it.
No, I don't think that always works. To some degree it does, but you do have to plan certain bits out. I found that I'm all right when I run and gun through certain rooms, but I have to plan each step of where I'm going to go. So it could be like, right, to get into this room, there's 3 people. All I have is a baseball bat. If I wait till they're all walking around a certain way, I might be able to run in through and just go dunk, 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 take all 3 of them out and not worry. Enemies will hear you as well if you're using guns and stuff. So if you fire off a shotgun, everyone's going to come get you at once. So you have to think about that as well. But yeah, it's kind of like you were saying with risk reward. It's got that kind of element in the sense that you will You do get rewarded if you are reckless in some areas, but it does take a little bit of planning as well. Because if you just try and run through the whole level recklessly, you're probably just gonna get fucked up. So it's really gory as well, considering it's like simple graphics. There's nothing particularly to write home about. In fact, the game, and I think it's purposefully made like this, makes me feel a little bit sick after playing it a while. Not because of the gore, but because the game is so neon and brightly coloured, and they use like old school camera effects, like with lines and stuff on the screen. And I think that kind of works with the game, because your guy that you're playing as is mental, and he's basically having a breakdown the whole time you're going through this and doing this thing, and he's losing his mind. It's a brilliant game. I think it's quite cheap now. It's not too long. I think you can get through it in about 6 to 7 hours. But it's definitely worth picking up. It is what they would call a murder simulator. You just run through and you just murder loads of people.
For what I've seen of it, and actually one of our commenters said a similar thing, it looks very much is based on sort of 70 action movies cliches.
Yeah.
And one of our comments just mentioned he thinks it looks a little bit like the film Drive.
It's very much like the film Drive. Yeah, Drive is one of my favourite movies. And in fact, the comparison to Drive is what initially got me to pick the game up ages ago, because it was like, the film Drive pays homage to that kind of era of movies, and it kind of has that effect.
But there's a sequel now, possibly, according to your...
There's a sequel. And
is it coming, or is it...
It's coming, yeah. It's not out just yet. The interesting thing with the sequel is what's happening so far is that, I haven't seen much. It looks like there's a few characters you play as in the sequel. There were 2 characters you play as in Hotline Miami. I won't reveal the second one because it's spoiler. But in the sequel, because of the fact you went through and did all this heinous... Well, it's not really heinous, because a lot of the guys that you kill, or pretty much everyone you kill, are gangsters anyway. So it's not like you're going through and murdering innocent people. You are basically fucking with other criminals. But the sequel seems to be based around a group of copycat killers who are just like obsessed with like because there's a movie made about the first guy apparently in the first game, and these next group are sort of inspired by this film to go out and do their own thing. And it looks interesting because rather than picking one guy who has different masks that give him different abilities like the first game, instead you've got set characters that you'll pick. And unlike the first dude who was silent, never said a word, these characters all have personalities. So far from what I've seen, the group, there's a guy called Tony who wears a tiger mask, and after they're great, the Frosties adverts, he can his thing is he can take people out of his fists, but he can't pick up weapons, so he's going to be a harder character to play as. The one that I like so far from watching some of the new trailers and that is his Duck Brothers. There's these guys that wear duck masks, and there's 2 of them. You have to control them both at the same time. And one of them starts with a pistol, I think, or an Uzi, and then he can pick up other guns. And the other one is locked to use a chainsaw. So this guy can run in and chainsaw people while the other dude's shooting them. And you're controlling them both at the same time. It's going to make it difficult, I would think, because you've got to keep them both alive. But that looks kind of fun. There's a guy in a panther mask and a guy in a bear mask, but I'm not sure what they do. I've not seen any gameplay stuff for them. But then there's another character who looks like he might be a Punisher style vigilante. Looks like a bit of a war veteran who can sort of go in and kill loads of killers because that's his thing. He's fighting. Whereas these other guys are nasty dudes that are just going in because they want to kill stuff for thrills. This guy kind of seems more like he's got a mission. He wants to take out characters who are evil, as it were. But yeah, in reference to sort of the older games, what makes this one looks more interesting is the takedowns and stuff. I've seen that you can do like forward rolls and things. So like if there's 2 guys with guns, you can like forward roll through the room and these guys will try and take you out, and then you can get through to the other side. The vigilante dude seems to be able to wield 2 Uzis and shoot independently, so he can run down corridors with his guns facing either way and take out whole rows of people, which looks like it's going to be pretty good fun. Yeah, I don't know. It just looks like they've taken all the elements from the first one that made it great and just amped it up. It looks like it's a hell of a lot more violent, but in a lot of ways that's a good thing, because Hotline Miami was
violence
pretty much
always good.
Hotline Miami was about that. That's what the game was about. It was a violent game, but yeah, still pretty good fun. And in a way, the the whole story of the game kind of parallels the idea of people playing games and being violent, and then these people that are just going through and doing this violent shit because somebody's telling them to do it, kind of thing, which is interesting. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the sequel. Anyone who's played the first one is gonna want to get on this because it looks bloody good. Have we had any more comments or anything?
No, someone has commented about the first one's apparently based in the 80s, the new one's in the 90s, which makes sense what you've described.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't realise it was in the 90s. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, that sounds like it might be cool. So maybe we'll have some sort of 90s styling and stuff in the game, whereas like the other one has 80s stylings. That'd be pretty cool.
Explains why it's neon.
Yes, everything is neon. Yes, maybe this one won't make me feel as sick while playing it. But then again, I kind of like that. It kind of reflected the game. I'm like,
point makes
I feel like I'm
so good.
Going crazy and I'm ill, like the dude
this
in the
version
game.
gives you Ebola.
Do you reckon that's what it was? Like, you just go fucking nuts. Everyone in the 80s that went nuts was just because there was too much fucking neon.
Getting crazy phone calls to deliver cookies.
Fucking walking down the street, everything starts flashing at you.
And then you just end up,
out.
I've just killed all these Russian mobsters. What's going on? But to coincide with this, a game that I love to chat on and on and on about is Payday 2. Payday 2 has got Hotline Miami DLC to coincide with the Hotline Miami 2 or launch.
Yes, but at some point we will all get together and play.
The Hotline Miami 2 or the Hotline Miami DLC, it's a bit pricey. It's £5 and you get like 2 levels and
you get one mission.
Yeah, you get a mission, some masks,
guns away,
and a few weapons. But that mission that you get is bloody good fun because it's rather than the tried and tested, you're just fighting police. There are police in the level, but you're also pitted against gangsters. So
you're fighting some random bloke with a baseball bat.
You're fighting some mobsters and stuff as well. The second part of the level, you're chasing this dude called the Commissar, who's like a Russian mobster, up the side of this building because the idea is with this whole breaking out of Old Hoxton, the dentist has information on how to get Old Hoxton out, but he wants you to kill this Commissar because this guy's a bit of a pain in the ass, apparently. So yeah, you're hired to take this guy out. And the second part of the mission involves you running through this abandoned building, and it's like a maze, and you've got to try and get to the top in time. The quicker you get to the top, because this guy's got loads of coke at the top and he's flushing it down the toilet just to spite you. So the quicker you get to the top, the more of this stuff you could save, the more money you make. But you're also getting up there to kill him. And he's hiding in his vault because he's using it like a panic room. So once you get to the top, it's literally just loads of police that are on his payroll start invading. So you've got to kill shitloads of cops to stay alive. And he's in his panic room and you're trying to break the door down to get through with your drill. So it's sort of like a fighting off waves while you wait to get through to him. And then he's like a boss character, a bit harder than the normal characters. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, as I really like both those games. So for that to tie in was quite neat. And a lot of people seem to be responding to it well. So hopefully we'll see some more stuff like that. Be interesting to see if the Payday masks crop up in Hotline Miami 2, actually. Be quite impressed if they do. That'd be pretty cool.
Makes sense.
Yeah, they probably will. I expect we'll get at least one of them, if not the whole lot. That will be pretty neat. But yeah, definitely looking forward to this. It's looking pretty damn good. The second game that I'm currently looking forward to, and I can talk to you both about this now we've seen the video, is Kingdom Come from
I will be done.
A company called Warhorse, or Kingdom Come Deliverance, the full title is. This is by developer Daniel Vavra, who previously worked on the Mafia games and has now gone away to make his own company, Warhorse, and has decided to make this game Kingdom Come, which I have to say is the most ambitious looking title I have seen in a long time. I described it to a friend as being the most ambitious title since Fable, but that will probably deliver, unlike Fable. As anyone who might have remembered the Fable debacle.
It's not going to suffer from the Molyneux effect, then.
No, bless him. I feel sorry for poor old Peter Molyneux because he used to be really cool and he used to make some wicked games.
Until he lost his mind.
Well, yeah, I think the death of Bullfrog, thank you, EA, basically drove him completely insane. And then
Microsoft stuck their fingers up his backside and that was it.
You are making him sound almost a little bit like some sort of mad scientist in his cellar, you know. if his beloved bullfrog died, so he started making sort of slightly...
I'm sorry, but after hearing Molyneux talk on some game documentaries,
God.
the dude does sound like some kind
when
of
he was
mad
talking about
scientist.
when he was talking about Fable, and he was like, "Yeah, your beard grows in real time." No, it doesn't. You can cut down trees, and they'll grow back. There aren't any trees you can cut down in the game. Yeah, and then the game will like you'll age in the game. Well, you do age in the game, but nobody else in the game ages.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
the mechanic of aging is stupid in Fable. You age as you level up.
Yeah, but not just that. Have you noticed that every other character in the game is still the same age?
Yeah.
You're like an old man, and your wife is a young woman. It's what?
That's the way it's supposed to be, man. Seriously.
And you can't quit missions either.
Fable was just...
it was an awful
See,
game.
the thing is, it was an okay game. It just had way too much hype, and it was built up to be something it is. And
See, I didn't follow the hype train then, and I really don't follow the hype train now. But some games just deserve
the
to
thing
be
with this is,
See, I didn't follow Fable, but everybody seemed to say, "Oh yeah, it's a really good game. You need, but it's a brilliant game."
It's not,
but it really isn't. The combat's crap.
But what did you play it on? The first
PC.
Fable. Well, there you go. Then there's your problem.
Well, I played it on
it's
Xbox, and
good
it was still pretty naff. It's okay. It's not bad.
Everything about it was crap. Everything about it, it's like
the PC version is actually considered to be better than the Xbox.
There's so many things wrong with it. It's just so many things made me so angry with it. You get demon points for eating chickens.
The game is ridiculous. But anyway, we're not talking about
Horrible
Fable, so I'll jump away from that now.
Horrible game.
Well, the idea being that this game is attempted to be as ambitious, if not more, but from the video we've seen, it's actually delivering. It's got a combat system that looks really intuitive. I mean, you were pretty much guessing over that earlier.
Amazed.
That it looks cool.
I've never seen a decent... There's very, very few games on decent, close, first-person combat. The last game I played that did semi-decent first-person combat was Dark Messiah of Might and Magic.
Yeah, I keep hearing about this game. Funnily enough, I was looking at it just yesterday, thinking of picking it up, because people were saying how good the combat and stuff is in it.
Yeah, it's the combat's really good. The rest of the game is a little bit...
Apparently, the magic system's really good as well.
Magic's fun, and you can do things like... It's got a lot of fun things like you can like sort of...
I saw a great video where a guy's walking along a balcony and he freezes a floor so it's slippery and then kicks a dude off a cliff. And I was like,
you can do that.
That looks fun. I want to play this.
Yeah, you can do that. And it's worth the combat. I mean, it's one of the games I had demo of, and I love demo so much I ended up buying the game.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it's worth... I'd say get it at a decent price.
It's only a tenner at the moment, so...
Yeah, that's
maybe wait for it to go cheaper.
Yeah, I'll pay wait for sale, get a bit cheaper.
But yeah, with this Kingdom Come, the basic premise by the looks of it is it's an open-ended medieval role-playing game that's touted as being Dungeons Without Dragons because it's based in reality. It's not based around any kind of mythological Middle-earth style world. It is based in the real world, and you are like you start off as a peasant, I believe, or a lord or something, and then your idea being that you're going to go across this open world. There's a sort of a loose plot with a king being dethroned by his brother and now being held captive. So there's going to be a warfare element that you can get involved with. And it says that there's role play elements where you follow a story, but where you make your own decisions. And each of your decisions will change how the game flows. And you can't, which I really like, you can't go back and change it, which is good. There isn't one thing I hate about modern RPGs is where your decisions don't have any impact. Dragon Age is notorious for this. That game sucks. Both of them suck. And one of the main reasons is because any decision you make doesn't mean shit. And
they try and lead you on to make you think that your decision.
And they don't. They really don't. But this game looks like it's definitely going to.
From what I understand, they've made out in this game that we're supposed to be talking about, which I've already forgot the name of.
Kingdom Come.
Yeah, they've made out that you could literally just be wandering around for the sheer piss of it, and then just wander onto a battlefield.
Yeah,
and then you have to do you leg it or do you stand and fight?
I'll be interested to see, because the battlefield they seem to imply that there'll be lots of people either side. I'll be interested to see if that actually happens. I imagine there'll be some programmable trickery in there.
I was going to say, that sounds hilarious. Right, close off, streak across the battlefield.
Yeah. But just the video show seems to appear like, proper regiments either side, like dozens, hundreds of people on each side of the battle. I'll be interested to see.
Yeah,
that I'm a bit suspect of that. I don't know if they'll be.
I mean, after having played Mafia 2 and that, and after having spoken to Daniel Vavra on Twitter before, because he seems quite open with his fan base, and he seems like a passionate developer. This is a guy that really makes games because he enjoys them. I mean,
something they mentioned in the Kickstarter.
Yeah, he left the company he was working for because he's fed up with the way games are going, because he wants to make a game he enjoys. That was why he founded Warhorse, and everyone who works in Warhorse seems to be of the same mindset. They're all talented people that have worked within companies.
You can't make money out of fun games.
They're pretty much jaded by the system, hence why they've gone to this and kickstarted it.
And Christ, everyone knows if you want to make money in the industry now, you have to make shit, and it has to go on the iPad.
And it has to pander to people that don't play games.
Yeah. Make a game for people who don't play games. Christ, that's where the money's at.
But yeah,
learn.
From what I've seen and from what the video we were watching earlier shows, this game, you have to check it out. If you look up the Kickstarter for it and watch the video, and it will show you.
Show notes.
Yeah, we'll link down the show notes. Put
$5,000 in, you can get a picture put in there.
$5 and the sword, you get a real sword. A real sword.
And you get to hang out with Daniel
and a
Vavra.
shield.
That sounds pretty cool.
So there we go. What we can do is we can split it. We'll put Nick's picture in the game. I'll have the sword, and Bart can go and meet the devs.
Cool.
Who gets the shield then?
The cat.
The people.
Yeah.
We should give the shield to the people.
We'll give that to my wife for letting us sit here every other week.
Yeah, he's perfect. So we need to put sort of $1.50 in each. We'll just about manage that.
Yeah, job done.
But yeah, it's looking like it's shaping up really well. Hopefully the horse riding in it will be good as well. If it's anything like the combat is looking, it will be pretty good. It's kind of looking like it's going to be similar to Mount and Blade, but with a bit more direction.
They did mention that as a
did mention Mount and Blade. They kind of mentioned that it would be like Mount and Blade mixed with Skyrim, mixed with Dark Souls combat, and there was another game mentioned, and I can't think what it is. But have either of you ever played Mount and Blade?
No.
It's basically like medieval warfare, but where you have first-person control of the combat. But you lead armies and stuff, and you basically go kind of think what Total War is like, but you're on the battlefield and you are fighting and leading your army. It's a cool game, very cool.
I've seen it, I've just never played it. I don't know if I own it. It might be one of the many.
I had the vanilla version, and although it wasn't anything to write home about graphically or anything else really, the combat
graphics don't always make the game.
No, the combat was brilliant. It's so much fun. The horseback riding and like with a lance or with a sword or whatever, it was just a really, really cool game when it came to the fighting. So yeah, if this game does better and then has like a story to follow and all this other stuff going on, the ability to sort of walk around and indulge in meeting people, going to sort of the villages, going through the towns and buying stuff. They were saying that you had mini games based on cooking and things like that, and that you'd have to eat to survive. If you put food in your pack and you kept it too long, it'd spoil. So it's got all these kind of realistic elements in it that look like they're going to be quite cool. Everything about it so far just looks really, really good, and I'm really hyped to play it. I can't wait for it to come out.
December 2015, apparently.
Yes.
That's the rough release date.
So it's a while, but yeah, it's just
a while off, but that looks pretty neat.
But that's good. I mean, we don't want it to be rushed out. It has to have the time to be made into a good game. I think that's one area where a lot of developers fall on hard times, when they're getting rushed to make a game and then the game turns out crap.
Well, even they said in the Kickstarter video, that's one of the main reasons they've gone to Kickstarter, is because they've found that no publisher is willing to back it, because it's not
not shit.
It's different. It's ambitious. There's a risk there now. It's not cookie cutter, so they can't guarantee there's going to be
Vavra's
payback.
Quite strong-minded as well, from what I've seen. He doesn't agree with a lot of the stuff going on in the industry at the moment, and he's not the type of dev that you can shoehorn into making something.
Well, that's where the Kickstarter thing came in, Monix. He said that, well, we've got a couple of options here. If we can prove to the backers that we do have that people want this game, they will continue to fund us,
Yeah.
and there'll be pretty much no questions
This
asked.
is it. We need more
But
developers like that.
If
We
no
really
one
do.
backs it and the funding gets pulled, then we all have to say like, well, maybe iPad games and the
So many developers
turd that's
are
being
such
published now.
utter pussies. They go out there and then they go, oh yeah, but I'll make this game, but then this person won't play it. Who gives a toss? Find your audience, market your game to your audience.
Yeah, for
Don't
sure.
try and market your game to everyone.
It
This is
doesn't
the
work.
problem. You can't please everyone with a single product. If you're trying to do that, your product is going to be shit because it's not going to appeal to any of those people. They're all going to be disappointed. Whereas if you've got a target audience that likes what you're doing, you can't go wrong because you're going to please that audience if that's what you're doing. And I think he's onto a winner with this. And I hope that he does do really well with it because it will show all these other idiots in the industry exactly why they're going wrong and why this sort of idea of pumping out games for fast cash when you got a guy who's like, right, I'm going to make a really good game, put lots of effort into it and make it for the people who want to play it, and then it does really well. Well, they'll just show them how they've been wrong all these years, pretty much.
Excellent.
But yeah, looking forward to Kingdom Come. Check it out. Have a look at the video. See what you think. And if you like it, back it. Because it looks like it's going to be a damn good game.
I must admit, I'm not very tempted to. You can still pledge to get awards on the website. And
so you can go to the website and play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's where you get your sword. You spend $5,000.
Because it was easily well overfunded, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're
For
now
what they wanted
Which
now
I'm pleased
they've
with.
still got further stretch goals on the website. And the last one they had is that they're nearly
Didn't they get up to like nearly $1 million?
they're nearly at $2.1 million.
Oh bloody hell!
Yeah, then next if they get $2.1 million, they're going to make sure that every
Didn't they have it in euros on there?
I think it's
no, it was always
dollars.
in pounds.
I'm sure it's let me
I'm pretty sure on the Kickstarter it was in pounds, and
Some Kickstarters are in pounds.
yeah,
And some will be in dollars.
I'll find out in a second.
fact checking.
Well, and again, I have got internet in front of me. It's in dollars.
All right, so but is the Kickstarter in dollars?
I think the Kickstarter was in dollars.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I think he must have been backed in dollars because he mentioned in the video that they already spent $1.5 million in dollars on this. But yeah, if they get their next goal is they're going to ensure they illustrate every historical information they're going to have to make sure they have illustrations for their codex.
Okay.
So
That's
I
awesome.
was going to say, in fairness, it's not that hard to spend $1 million, is it? I mean, just
No.
buy a
No.
bag of crisps.
See,
on
I've
there for $1
wanted-
million.
that's almost 50 quid, isn't it? $1 million.
Yeah, near enough. That's like a couple of bags of crisps, a bottle of Iron
Yeah.
Brew.
I'm sure I must have spent about $1 million on mods and stuff over the last couple of weeks.
And at least we're going to have enough money put in for the game to actually be finished. Looking at you, Tim Schafer, and your game that you recently released that had money put into it by people and then was completely fucking unfinished. Well done.
A
there.
lot of people, a lot of these companies that are, saying, "Hey, Joe, give us XYZ amount of money and we'll make this game." They are all fucking it up because they don't realize how much money it actually costs.
And they're
to make
making
a game.
games and they're spending their money on other crap rather than on the game.
Like the dude I mentioned that other
You
time.
don't have to live in a hotel. Let's put it like that. If you're making the game, your money should be going into the game, not making sure that your people
Well,
are
that dude
living
that was
in
making
bloody
there was a
luxury.
tabletop board game or card game or
Ugh.
something. It's like, it turns out that moving house and moving to another city costs a lot of money. So then what the fuck are you doing putting your
Yeah.
Kickstarter money into that?
It's not what your Kickstarter's for, Tosser. Sort it out.
I mean, the only thing about it is obviously with games, really games come down to your development team, and good developers cost money.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, I think with a lot of them though, I know there was a bit of a hoo-ha with some of these games devs paying for hotels and stuff for them to live in and wasting their money on luxuries they don't need rather than putting it into the actual development money.
What I love about the game that's just been mentioned is that he said that the money itself isn't even necessary. What money is generated is for extra stuff they want to put in the game.
Yeah.
The Kickstarter itself is just to prove to their current backers that people do actually want this game. And then, because they're trying to prove that publishers are wrong and trying to say to the backer the backers they do have.
I love it.
Look, hey,
I mean,
yo.
I've got a lot of respect for this guy because he's taking on the industry at its heart, where it's gone completely bloody wrong, and he's just saying, "Look, I can do this. If I do it, you've got to make sure you start picking up the pace, because otherwise, people like him are going to start taking, which is what we want. We want developers like him. If there's more developers like him that are making the games they want to make for the audience they want to target, then we're going to be having a lot of good games. Because, you know, if like we get these games coming out and they're saying, oh, well, I want to make this person happy or this person happy, by all means do that, but only make your game for those people, because if they're the people you want to target, do it, but don't try and make a game for everyone, because it's just not going to work.
Oh,
so fingers crossed with Avra.
It does look very good.
Hoping this works out.
It does look good. That's got horses in it. What more could you want? Sheep unconfirmed.
Do we have any comments?
Not on that. Well, someone thought that the first Fable was fun and had humour. Yeah.
Chicken chaser.
Oh God! Oh, you've just reminded me why I hated Fable so much. Oh, you've just suddenly reminded me why I've blocked that out of my memory. Why I hated it so much. I've just remembered now. Every person you walk past reminds you of your title. Look, it's a chicken chase. I can see why it's called chicken chase. Hello, chicken chase. How are you today, chicken chase? Every single person.
It at the start, though, can't you?
You can change it, but whatever it is, oh, I can see why it's called assassin. Oh, hello, assassin. Hello, assassin. You just shut up. I know who I am.
Can I ask you?
Sorry.
Did you kill or spare Whisper?
I can't remember.
I killed Whisper. She
I feel
annoyed me so much.
her.
It's this character basically who's meant to be your best friend, and all she does is talk shit to you the whole way through the game. And then she meets you in the arena and she's bigging herself up, and you beat her, and you've got the option to kill her. It's like, oh no, please don't kill me. And obviously, like, done.
I think I remembered the character.
And then you've got her brother, and if you don't kill her, he tries to kill you. And if you do kill her, he tries to kill you. So I killed both of them.
That's
about the only fun I had with the game. It was like, yeah.
I do remember that when I played it, I usually do the usual. I went to do my side missions first. There weren't that many side missions in the game, but I got to the last boss and I was so overpowered. I took him out in like 5 hits. It's like, oh,
is that our Jack of Blades?
Yeah, it's like, well, you were a badass dude, weren't you?
Yeah, I was going to say that game was so.
What happened, Molyneux? Come on, Populous, Dungeon Keeper,
Theme Hospital.
Theme Hospital.
I'm sorry, but it suffered with a bit of the Morrowind effect.
Yes.
At one point, I say every game suffers with the Morrowind effect these days. Oh yeah, look at this really badass end boss, and then you go up to them and punch them, and they're dead.
Dag off there. Didn't some guy? I remember reading like on some forum that somebody had leveled their character so hard that they punched Dagothur in the face, and the game just crashed. It's like he broke the game by killing Dagothur in one hit. It's brilliant.
Nice.
No!
The only other comment we've got is apparently Minecraft Vita gets released next week.
It's about bloody time.
So all the Vita owners in this area can play it.
Once upon a time, it would have been me, but not anymore.
No. Right. Games, hardware, other news. Skazz, this is your section.
Oh yeah, right.
I get to be quiet for a bit.
Bard needs to rest.
Gotta rest my voice.
Bard recharging.
Just like plug him into the wall.
Food.
No, you don't have to do that. He's induction recharging.
Just gonna sit there and eat Terry's chocolate orange.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Oh no!
That was meant to be before the podcast, and it went before the podcast.
Oh my god! Not my fault.
Probably a good thing because we don't really want to put up this is food. This is just eat for the next 10 minutes.
Which is pretty much the birthday podcast.
That was
birthday podcast Mark II. I could have cut that back, but I just thought it was so. Even when I was editing, I was almost crying laughing. So you could just hear the cake. I was like, damn, that was good cake, and my teeth started hurt. I was like, oh, but I wish I had more.
I made a mess of that cake as well.
Yeah, no,
it's good for you. It's good cake.
20 minutes in, it still wasn't eaten.
Diabetes cake. It was good. Very good.
You wait till next year.
Just looking at it and you just pass out. It's up in a cold.
Next year will be bigger.
Oh,
bigger
God.
We're going American on the next birthday.
Yep.
It's going to be like twice the size.
You got something to look forward to.
Twice the size of the table.
Yes.
Probably
we'll have the laptop and the
shaped like
on
a bloody sheep as well, isn't it?
No.
It's like Nick's kind of raising his eyebrows. Like, oh yeah,
that's a good.
That's not a bad.
I know. An old light bulb go ding above my head would be away.
Whack you with that lamp that's next to you. I'll put it above your head and flick the switch.
Oh God.
For the benefit of the video viewers.
This is awkward.
Oh, for God's sake, someone just... Well, just give up, Nick. Seriously, you're failing at life, okay?
Okay.
Here we go. Get ready, people. Fuck, that'd be funny if he electrocute himself. Oh my God, no!
What can we do for next year? Sheep!
What can we do for next year?
Sheep.
No.
He's a bright spark, or he would have been if he got electrocuted.
That'd be absolutely shocking. That would have been.
The humour right now. Don't worry, we'll
Come
be
on,
here
let's move
all
on before I
night.
get too much buzz out of this.
Lightning
Stand
can't
up
strike
comedy gig
twice.
next week.
Come on.
Right. Games, hardware, other news. Retron 5.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Yes, we all know about the
Oops.
Retron 5. So, Hyperkin, wonderful company, right? Never known to steal anything in their lives. Saints of, aftermarket.
Help old
crap.
dears cross the road.
Yeah, they do so much. Not just gaming, not just retro things. They help, well, I guess biddies are retro, but whatever.
They're all 8-bit, aren't they?
Yeah, could you imagine that? When you get older, you just think,
You lose resolution.
Have to blow the dust at you to get you to work.
Someone comes running at you with cotton buds.
It's worse when you get really old, you go 2D.
It's kind of scary.
I've just got a vision of going to this old people's home and everywhere looks like a Minecraft place.
And if you consider,
We've got to build our people's home in Minecraft now.
if enough people don't like it, you find yourself in a landfill.
Good old ET. Poor Atari. Damn, you guys sucked.
Did you watch the Nintendo Nerd film?
No.
No?
Has it actually been fully released now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't.
Just a couple of weeks back. I saw it. It was okay. Not as good as the actual show, but he did. I'm happy for him because he wanted to make a film.
He's
and he
wanted to
did
make
it.
a big boy film for a long time.
But it didn't focus enough on him, I don't think. It's focused more on his friend who I've never seen before.
Yeah, but let's be,
I don't know. It was okay. It was all right, but it wasn't anything brilliant. But yeah, good one, James. It's cool that you got your movie out.
A character friend or an actual friend like Mike Matei being in it.
Yeah, it's not Mike Matei. It's like some other guy, and I don't know if it's his actual friend. It might be. There are some other celebrities in it that are like e-celebs in it, like that you'll see, that you'll recognise. But it was okay. It did what it said in the tin, and he got to make his film, which is neat.
There you go. Link in show notes.
I didn't even realise that'd come out. I just know it premiered about the same time as the Atari Landfill Dig documentary.
Yeah, no, it's out. Yeah, it's out.
So that's pretty neat.
And also, he's doing his Cinemassacre Monster Marathon run at the moment that he does every year. Do you ever follow that?
No.
Oh, you should check them out and check the old ones out, man. Every year.
Oh, is that the one where he does a series of videos?
Yeah, leading up to Halloween.
They're
They're brilliant. I love them. I found so many cool old horror flicks from watching those. Yeah, very, very cool. So that's worth checking out.
Another link in the show.
Yes.
But anyway,
maybe
back
that's
to
a
what we're
work.
talking about.
Right, so Retron 5. I was pretty hyped about the Retron back when it was first announced. And then it kind of all went downhill when it came out. There were build quality issues. You realize it was just kind of dumping the ROM from the cart. And then you couldn't really always restore the save states because, well, they didn't always work. So basically, you put your cartridge in, you'd fire up the system. And before the game would even play, it would have like a loading screen because it would have to dump the ROM to the internal memory.
Yeah, because it wasn't actually. It was
an emulator.
It was software emulation.
It was
good.
A whole full blown.
It must have been really hard for them to code that different software emulation software.
Oh yeah, for
programs.
sure. Like everyone was like, where the hell have Hyperkin managed to come up with all these hardcore emulators?
Because it's really difficult to make it. They've managed to do one for so many different systems.
So because before they had all their systems on the little single base chip. What's it? So you just flick a switch and go to a different chip to emulate a different system on chip style console, like NES clones and stuff. When they had NES on a chip, and that's what the old systems were. So you'd have like a Genesis on a chip and an NES on a chip or whatever, and then you just flick the switch and it goes to those. In this case, it's literally an Android system or an Android console or phone or whatever, and it would just be loaded with emulators. Where did they get the code? They didn't make it, apparently. Apparently, they nicked the whole fucking lot.
There's from a website, wasn't there? There's a group of people who made all the emulators.
Well, it's been cracked. A group of people have cracked the Retron 5. I lost interest in it as soon as I found out that you couldn't do anything with it other than dump cartridges. And as soon as they said the save states were a bit kind of wonky, and that you couldn't restore your save files reliably back to your cartridge. I was just what's the point in that? Then I'll just pull out my old consoles or just use an emulator.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's an emulator, you want it to work correctly, right? But yeah, it turns out what they've actually gone and done is, from what I understand, because I haven't looked hardcore into it, all they've literally gone and done is nicked RetroArch, which is like a multi-system kind of like front end for tons of different emulators. So you'd load up a core, and then you could load up the games through the core, which is basically a ton of different emulators. Someone else, like, I'm trying to dumb it down really easy. But I'm sure someone in the comments can kind of like flush it out or whatever. Or you can just do a little bit of research. Most people I know that run hacked consoles or anything like that will know what RetroArch is.
And it's a big group project, RetroArch.
Yeah,
a lot of people contribute to it.
Yeah, because you'll have like the developers of individual emulators develop cores for RetroArch that RetroArch can then load up to. Rather than just having their own individual executable, they will develop a core that can be loaded up in RetroArch. But basically, what it turns out is that Hyperkin have just fucking nicked RetroArch and thrown it on their system, front end included, all of it, just the whole thing. Doesn't know that they've changed any of the code at all.
No, because one of the guys who's actually the coder for it, who actually said the code is near enough line by line exact to what he wrote. So, because you're going to get some degree of similarity between coding software, but it is too similar.
See, now, so they've been busted. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen. From what I understand, a lot of places are now refusing to stock the Retron 5. And a lot of people are like, no, well, we're not going to buy them now anyway. If I had to be honest, and this is going to sound really nasty, I don't really think it's a big deal.
If you're the person, from what I've gathered, from what a lot of people have said, it's not so much the fact that it's been stolen, it's the fact that it's
marketed.
It's the fact that it's stolen and then they've not credited the people who've done the work.
Yeah. Well, they are now. But
but all the people who spent a lot of time and effort making these emulators aren't being credited, not necessarily any sort of funding raised, but at least having a name check saying this person created it. It's not so. I think it's not so much. It's more the fact it's basically plagiarism. They're passing it off as their own stuff. I think that's more people more pissed up about, because most of them were on a it's a GNU license, the one that does allow you to reuse it anyway. Some ones you can't use for commercial gain. But so if you've put a lot of time work into something, I can see why you'd be pissed off by it. The fact that somebody's basically claim they've done it, but actually haven't done any work into it at all themselves. If they properly sort of talk to the RetroArch guy and say, look, we're going to make this system that's we'd like to use it, I bet a lot of people wouldn't have rejected it.
I reckon they'd have just said, yeah, mate, go for it.
Yeah, but I think it's a big objection to it.
I think what you're saying there is what I think a lot of the people's problem here with this is that a lot of the guys that make these emulators just like to make them because they like to tinker with things. They like to understand how they work, and then they share what they do, and people can enjoy them, they can play with them, tinker them themselves. Because a lot of the emulators over the years, because that's what I've been playing with the last couple of weeks rather than playing with regular games, is that a lot of these, what I realized quite recently is that a lot of these emulators have changed hands a lot over the years. So it's not necessarily one or two guys developing it. It's like literally changed 9, 10, 11 developers over the years to get to where it is now.
They just keep improving them.
What's happened is now that Hyperkin have effectively locked down that code, because Hyperkin weren't telling people where they got the code, kind of thing. They were saying it was theirs, and so I think that might have wound up the guys making.
I think that's
they're being selfish dickheads. It's not cool, man.
Claim it as your own stuff. That's what I think it's really got down. That's what I think that's the nub of the issue. I think most of those wouldn't have cared if they had been at least been acknowledged.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think there was a case of just acknowledging it. I think if they'd have just flat out said straight out Hyperkin, without even asking, they just said, "Yeah, here you go, it's open." Yeah. I don't think they'd have even cared.
And like you said, it's preventing other people from them working on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Improving
it. You can still play through RetroArch itself and all that kind of stuff. But just the idea that like saying like, hey, yo, I've developed this. This is open source. Just, you know, you can do whatever you want with it, tinker with the code, add to it, and we'll go from there. And then to say that random guy over there has taken this code, stuck it onto his box, and now he's saying, right, no, that's locked down and no one can tinker with that. Sure, you can still tinker with the main.
Which goes against the licenses they have.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I just think it goes against the whole mentality of
the whole idea of
the
thing.
But,
yeah.
I've gone and had a massive brain fart there with all that, but yeah,
I have a certain hatred of people who pass. I have a certain hatred of people who will pass others' hard work as their own.
Yeah,
I do have a certain dislike for it, and that would put me off completely.
Especially in like an area where people happily share their work to benefit everyone else, and then you've got this one twat that'll just take it and prevent everybody else from enjoying it just because they want to be selfish. And it's just like, nah, just piss off. You know, everybody else should be able to enjoy it as well. That should be the way it should be done.
I think if they just said, okay, we're going to do a version of RetroArch, we're going to use a version of Retro on our system, and to make it, but for whatever reason, we're going to have to sort of, to make it so that it always stays compatible with the system, we're going to have to lock it down a little bit. They would probably absolutely fine got away with it. It is simply the fact that they just didn't. Oh, aliens back. It's simply the fact that they just didn't tell anybody. That's I've really that's all it comes down to.
Yeah,
and they've just not been honest about it.
Yeah, actually, I've just come back from my brain fart world wherever I was. That makes me wonder. See, because you know you mentioned about you know all the. They've nicked all the code, has come from all these other people that put all this time to do all this work. So what the hell was the excuses for all of the delays? Where did they come from?
Must have been hardware.
Because the Retron 5 was delayed so much, and well, it couldn't have been on the software side because they've nicked it all.
They've also the software they've nicked to work with the hardware. Else, if they'd done the whole software from the ground up themselves, they could have made it work straight away. So they've also had to modify it somewhat to get it to work with the hardware. So they have probably put some work into it. There's also not a lot.
I can imagine the controller inputs probably being the problem they had and restoring the save stage to the cartridge. Yeah,
but I don't know they have put some work into it. They clearly have, but they've just not. They've obviously thought they're. I mean, they might perhaps I'm being generous. Perhaps they didn't realize that when they took it, that if they modified it, it'd be all right and they could use it. As they didn't understand that, I think they probably did. I think they just thought no one would find out. But people should know by now in the world of internet and people
these days,
you can't get away with hiding that stuff. People always find out. No one ever gets away with that. No matter how big or small you are, you will not get away with it.
Everyone said the second they said that it was an emulator that was only going to run cartridges, everyone said, oh yeah, don't worry about it. They'll crack that soon. Hyperkin should have known better. Some little geezer was going to be sitting there tinkering away. Probably one of the guys developing the stuff was going to be like, yep. Well,
he's going to see how they did it.
Yeah, I want to see how it works, which is exactly the mentality they had when they started coding the stuff to begin with.
Yeah.
Then they crack it and they're like, you bastards, that's my work.
Yeah. It'd be a kick in the teeth.
Well, there you go. Retron 5, kind of boned. I still think it's a neat little system. Quality control's a bit and the whole dumping cartridges kind of.
Well, we know why now, don't we?
Well, yeah, but we knew it was going to do it because of emulation anyway. But just it's slow and it's wonky.
Do you think they should have stuck with the systems on the chip?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're changing the approach for compatibility's sake was a bit. If I had to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The stuff they had before wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Nowhere was it close to being perfect, but it worked, kind of thing. You know, you'd have a physical switch, games would load instantly. You weren't sat there faffing around. If you hit the save fucking button, guess what? Saved. Retron 5, you hit the save button. Sure, saved whilst you're playing it. Hey, let's put my save back on my cartridge because, well, that's where the save's going to get stored, right? No, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because they haven't designed it properly. Or at all.
Well, they didn't design it. The person who programmed never realised it's going to be used that way.
So there you go.
It probably was absolutely fine. and software version.
I mean, I've played with RetroArch. I've got RetroArch installed on my PlayStation 3. I've got it on the Ouya. You can get it on your phone, I think. It's good software.
Yeah.
Really good software. Just
by a large group of people.
Hyperkin
aren't one of them.
I do believe some of the folks that work on RetroArch actually hang around the Raspberry Pi forums as well. Because that's on there. RetroArch's also on them.
Well, mate, it's a perfect little system for it.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go. That's what Retron function. They share like 2 or 3 Raspberry Pis in their system.
Yeah, just like Hyperkin. There you go. Raspberry Pi. Stick that in there. Hang on a minute.
No, they'd stick it in there. Then they'd claim it's the Hyperkin strawberry apple strudel or something.
Rhubarb crumble.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but all I'm imagining is like a cake or a pie now with control port stuck in the side of it. That'd be a tasty console.
Yeah. But you'd eat it, wouldn't you, for the thing?
I ain't got no problem with that. Sounds like it tastes good. Yeah. I mean, the Retron 5 doesn't exactly play the games how you want them to, so stuffing a cartridge in a cake ain't going to be any worse.
Right, Flashback.
Well, this one's going to be a bit wonky, isn't it? Because we've got a lot of stuff in.
We have. We'll move through it quickly, I think.
Sure. I mean, because a lot of this stuff can be booted out, but we'll get to that when we get
to whatever you feel like. Couple of episodes back, we mentioned... you mentioned about you thought the Japanese were disguising ship as Tracy Island. Well, not as Tracy Island, but Tracy Island-esque.
Thunderbird 2 came out of it.
Yeah. You were close. It was done. It's actually a Royal Netherlands ship called the HNLMS Abraham Krugissensen. I apologize for anyone I apologize to anyone if I pronounced that incorrectly. And they actually disguised an island to avoid the Japanese Navy. What they used to do is they used to keep... I saw photos of it. It actually looked quite convincing. It looked quite good. They used to hang around near the actual existing islands and sort of follow them. So it didn't actually look like an island at sea. It was just meant to hang... The idea was it was in front of another island. So if you looked at it, you wouldn't see the island. So it's wasn't literally a floating island.
So look at that fucking random island here.
Yeah. But still, there'll be a link in the show notes that as well.
Cool. Well, I actually found that out from actually it was a Japanese game based on warships. Random stuff you find in Japan.
What game?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember, but if I can remember what it is,
oh okay,
then I'll link it.
Cool.
It looked kind of neat, and pretty much every ship was given an anime character to represent it, which kind of bounces on to our next flashback. That I want Nick to put up links to the Internet Explorer anime chick.
Yeah, I looked them myself.
So linking links there for a previous whatchamacallit of the Internet Explorer anime chick, which is based on characters that was drawn by someone else for the other browsers, but Internet Explorer didn't get any love. Or if it did, it was a bumbling idiot, which in fairness, Internet Explorer kind of is a bumbling idiot.
Yeah. It's for me, if I was going to design a character representing Explorer, it'd be somebody quite fat, very stupid, and full of STDs because it's very insecure.
Wow. Damn, dude. Seriously? Someone get on that. I want to see the real I don't want to see because I'd have to kind of gouge my eyes out.
Yeah.
But, I want to know how an artist would do that.
Right, any artists watching us, please, by all means, make your own version of an Internet Explorer person.
Of Nick's version of Internet Explorer. Damn, man, that's cruel. You are mean to Internet Explorer. There are some people out there that's what I mean to it. Explorer.
It doesn't work.
What do you think? Do you remember all them years when Internet Explorer, like, you didn't have that many options? And all internet browsers were kind of wonky back then.
Oh, it's a nightmare. I remember the day I installed Firefox for the first time, and it was wonderful. And then Firefox went bad.
And then Chrome came about, and everyone was like, ooh.
And we all jumped on the Chrome bandwagon.
Chrome's all right. It's okay.
It's okay.
I must admit, I'm in two minds about Chrome or Firefox.
Right. So then what do you use instead? If you're not going to use Chrome or Firefox...
I use Netscape Navigator. No. I use the World Wide Web.
I ain't got no internet. I use Encarta 95.
You don't look anything up. It's just it's all there on your disc.
I use World Wide Web, the original text-based web browser.
We just what we actually use is we use BBSs.
Yeah.
That's it. We just dial in, hope that the information we want's there at a premium rate.
I haven't got a decent amount. I have to make the noise over the phone on behalf. That's something to edit out for you. No, I use both Firefox and Chrome.
Fairly. Different jobs, different browsers.
The reason being is that I've got Firefox logged into one user and Chrome logged into another user, both on Google, so I can have both open at once.
I did that, but I just use incognito windows for that.
Yeah.
I'm too lazy.
Cool.
I can't be bothered to install different browsers. I used to, but then I had like 6,000 different browsers for different things.
Chrome, much Firefox is not quite as good as it used to be. Chrome has got some really annoying features that really irritate me.
Like you can't stop it from playing shit automatically without having a plug.
Yeah, it automatically loads every single tab. If you've got 20 tabs open and you won't reload
it,
it,
noisy pretty quickly when it
then I remember one time I had 50 tabs open and it chugs it trying to load everything up.
Or it kind of like it crashes and then restores and then reloads all 50 pages.
Yeah, it's
like,
like,
you've paused
but yeah,
all the music.
you can get a plug-in that stops it. It's like,
you
come
shouldn't
on.
need one.
No, come on. Firefox had that for as long as I can remember.
50 tabs open for?
No, you never know.
I was on TV, so no, I keep opening tabs when I'm on there.
I do that like every time I read something, I'll find a link.
Actually, to be fair, when I'm preparing stuff like weird news, I often have about 12 tabs open doing that.
Fucking hell, man! I have like 10 or 15 just randomly getting up in the morning,
Yeah.
just to keep up with email, checking a few YouTube videos, checking out a few news feeds, and then by the end of the day, my entire screen is full. Like you can't even read the titles for the tabs anymore. There's so many open. And then I just pray that my browser doesn't crash, which shamefully it usually does. Fix it.
Good old Chrome.
Right now, should we mention just briefly?
We didn't actually ever mention this previously on the podcast, to be fair, or we did very briefly.
Are you sure you didn't well, you mentioned your phone.
I mentioned it breaking in my pocket.
So, should we kind of mention the old the fanboy iPhone Bendgate?
Yeah, I'm going to take issue with this because I know what you're going to say.
They make good boomerangs.
Well, I mean, I know what you're saying. I think any phone that you put in your pocket that can break by being in your pocket is bad design, whoever makes it.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say, though, and you can accuse me of being foul if you want, is that when it happens to an Apple product, it tends to be big news.
Yeah, because they only make like one product.
Yes. So, same with when the antenna problem. All phones have problems with if you have them in a certain way, but because it was Apple, everybody made a big thing about it.
Yep.
The same for this, but the only reason
can I just say that the main reason that people make such a fuss over Apple products is because Apple is the kind of
and everybody kisses Apple's ass.
Yeah.
That's why.
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of it's an everybody device.
Yeah.
Even your mum, pop, like an idiot down the street
Yeah.
can get an Apple device, and it's like, oh, hey, it works. Whereas before, once upon a time, I remember having my first smartphone. I had to get on a business contract. You actually had to have kind of a mind to be able to get one, and to be able to get your emails working on it. You had to actually know how to configure an email client.
Yeah,
you couldn't just username, password, job done, or hey, look, here's my Apple ID, now everything works, kind of thing. It wasn't something that was just simple to set up. You actually had to know something about computers and stuff like that to get your smartphone to work. Whereas now, because every Muppet and their dog can use a smartphone, or every Muppet can get a smartphone, everyone's like, why doesn't it work? Like all these people that have gone from, like, I don't know, Motorola Razr phones from 20 years ago that last a week on one charge, they get a smartphone and wonder why it fucking runs out of power every 30 seconds. So, well, kind of learn, dumbass. But sorry, I can't help it. Just everyone's gotten stupid, and now everyone's been given shiny technology they can't handle.
If they'd have paid extra to get the special edition iPhones made from Steve Jobs' bones, they wouldn't bend.
Well, it's his anniversary of his death on Sunday, I think. Is it this Sunday coming up? Last Sunday? 3 anniversary, I think, coming up.
I've completely lost track of time.
Yeah, I think it's coming up very soon. Poor old Steve Jobs.
Rolling in his grave.
Rest in peace.
Bending in his grave. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I had to go there.
I have to say the camera on that phone is pretty neat though. The iPhone 6.
Yeah,
that's pretty sweet.
I've actually seen the iPhone 6 Plus in the flesh now. Chap at work had one, and actually after having it, I mean, I first thought it's going to be too big. Now having it in my hand and actually using it for a little while, I usually got used to it. I actually wanted one. I thought, because I'm going to get a new iPhone in February when I can renew. I am probably going to get the Plus. I'm just not going to put it in my pocket.
I don't think it's that big of a deal.
I think it is. I mean, there's no dispute about actually how common it is. See, the trouble is these days with all your social media, if one person has a problem, it becomes national news.
Yeah.
So actually, how common is it? And don't be funny. No matter what product it is, someone will break it somehow. Funnily.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So if you put, what do you expect? You've got a big thin piece of metal you put in your pocket. Wow, it bends. Well done. What do you think was going to happen? So
I sat on my phone.
It's
That's what
not
I thought
well.
was kind of funny. Like, there were some people that put it in their back pockets and they sat on it and it broke. It's like, well,
it's a thin piece of metal. What do you expect? It's not that strong.
it's like I put my and all these people are like, yeah, mate. It's like I put it in my skinny jeans pocket. It's like, what actual human being can wear skinny jeans and put shit in their pockets? What is wrong with these
pure
idiots?
The fact they're wearing skinny jeans in the first place is a problem.
I find amazing about smartphone people, and everybody's saying smartphones, that they so abuse them so much. If there's a digital camera that was the same price, people are like so precious over it. You know, I must make sure you got all the lens caps on for anything. No one treats a digital camera like you treat their smartphone. They're about the same money you can spend on them easily. But they just seem to have their smartphone and abuse them.
Because a smartphone, people don't generally pay for them full price outright.
No, they don't.
They get these crappy subsidized contracts and pay way more than the phone's worth over a period of time.
Yeah.
Whereas the digital camera, they feel that pain in their wallet because they instantly go out and have to shell out $700 to £1,000 for them.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't really comment too much because I abused my iPhone and actually abused the point that I actually broke the screen on it once, had to replace it. Very fiddly job, and then I killed it by giving it a swim it didn't need.
Yeah, see, I've only ever broken one iPhone and I drowned it.
I refused to buy the bloody things.
I used to hate the iPhone. Well, I hated the iPhone before it was an iPhone. Back when
you hated it before it was cool.
Back when it was the iPod Touch, and the iPod Touch came out, and I didn't like it because the iPod Touch didn't have. My thing back in the day was if I was going to have a portable MP3 player, like back when MP3 players were new,
you didn't want a big flashy screen draining your battery.
Well, okay, so that was part of the problem. But I had a mini disc.
Capacity.
Yeah, I had a mini disc player, right, to start with. Brilliant. I could store 50 CDs worth of music on my high MD player, and then I moved on to an iPod. I got a 60 gigabyte iPod. Where I could store my entire music library at the time. Not even close now. A lot of people are like, oh, you'd never fill a 60 gig iPod. I did. And these days I could fill it like 5 times. But I don't get just like single albums or just singles. I get entire discographies, even if I don't necessarily like the entire band's discography. Then all of a sudden the iPod Touch comes out.
Books.
Yeah, actually, that's what I tend to put on most of them. I love podcasts and audiobooks.
I have stacks of audio. Oh, I looked at it turns out podcasts
War
are
and
what
Peace.
was training.
It's the whole thing taken up then.
I actually ended up getting the King James Bible, an audiobook, just for the lols. Fuck, it's huge.
Have you listened to it yet?
No, thank God.
You should do.
That'd take thousands of years. Seriously, it's huge, dude.
Was it 96 hours we found out?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's not 1,000 years. That'll take you, like, if you listen to it non-stop, it'll take you, if you listen to it for, say, 14 hours, it'll take you about a week.
I'll probably end up chewing through my desk before
if they make a version read by Bill Cosby, I might do it. That'd be awesome. And he read it like it was a Fat Albert cartoon. That'd just be amazing.
Well, I mean, my problem with the iPod Touch was that then we went to flash storage. And that was expensive back then.
And you got no real capacity.
Yeah, you had no storage at all. My mate was like, hey, man, look at my iPod Touch.
Yeah, that's exactly why I wouldn't have one.
It's got like 8 gigs of storage. I was like, that's shit. What the fuck would I want that for? I've got an iPod here with 60 gigs worth of storage. I've got all of my fucking music. I was like, well, what do you want all your music for? It's like, just because I'm walking down the street right now listening to metal, and that's the thing that I listen to most of the time, what's to say that when I get down the pub, I'm like, shit, you know what I could do with listening to some reggae or some classical? It's just when you have that random urge to listen to something different that I wanted it all there.
And you know the faffing around having to go back and resync your phone, your iPod up to change the music on it.
Yeah, which is why every time I bought and the first iPhone was only a 2G device when everything else was 3G at the time.
Should be going down there with your vinyl player on your back, look, listen to your records as you move.
Go down there with your ghetto blaster on your shoulder with your D batteries in it, man. But no, it wound me up. And every time I buy an iPhone, I tend to buy. See, I'm not like the average consumer that goes out and says, "Oh, I'm going to get a contract," and they spend like 30 quid a month on it, and they just like throw it in the pocket and smash it and jump up and down on it.
Drop in a pig water trough.
Yeah, exactly.
Bend it and throw it.
For the last few phones I've owned, I've gone out and paid cash, full price at the counter, which kind of shocks most people because I don't look like the kind of guy that could go in there, open up my wallet, and slap like nearly $1,000 down on a desk in cash. Whereas everyone else, like, you've got the businessman in his suit, like, yep, I'd like to get that on the contract, and I just walk in and say, yeah, I'll have it unlocked, cash on the table. I bought the iPhone 4 like that, 64 gig iPhone 4 at 700 quid. I did the same thing with the 4S. I skipped the last couple of iPhones because I went back to Android. But every Android phone I've paid for in cash as well. But yeah, iPhone 6, spend in your pocket. I've seen people with skinny jeans put these in and do like extreme sitting, as they've called it, and there's been hardly anything.
Have you ever seen people, some of the YouTubers, people trying to bend it? Look how easy it is to bend it, and they sit there going.
Yeah, I saw the one that made it big. Lou from Unbox Therapy literally just went and probably like broke it. But
so
I mean, the thing is, the
just still sat here trying to mentally
well.
digest extreme sitting.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Is that
hardcore.
like the new sport? Cool.
Well, they have extreme ironing, don't they?
Right. So extreme sitting. It was a YouTube video. It was a video response to Lou of Unbox Therapy's Bendgate thing, where he literally just snaps the phone. Jonathan of TLD. I can't remember the guy from Your Average Consumer, and Austin Evans. They get a very small iPhone case in comparison to some of the more hardcore iPhone cases, and they say, look, can a very small case fix this Bendgate issue or stop you from panicking about it all the fucking time? Because, you know, come on, it is a very thin piece of aluminium you're stuffing in your pocket. And so that Austin puts on the tightest pair of skinny jeans he can find and then puts this massive chunk of aluminium in his pocket, the iPhone, and he sat there. And for the sake of the video viewers, he's crunching up, bringing his knees up to his ribs, and bending his legs in all kinds of crazy ways because these things get really tight in your pockets because they're skinny jeans, right? No, will the phone bend? No, it wasn't until someone actually sat on it and then bent it with their hands that it actually started to get a bend in it. Yeah. So I mean,
it has been overhyped, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got a pretty beefy size Android phone. It's not huge, but I don't wear skinny jeans or anywhere close to that. But when I put that fucker in my pocket, I feel it. And it's probably one of the worst things you can do to a smartphone these days. For a start, if you're an actual bloke, you're just going to end up with a smartphone in your nutsack. You're going to get a nice pointy corner in your nads. And if you're a woman, well, that thing's just going to disappear in seconds. So... yeah, exactly. Just don't put it in your pocket. That is
not a mental image I was needing.
Our listeners are going to enjoy that one.
Think the sound effects.
So you either sit on it
just think of Boba Fett falling in a pit of salad. Never to be seen again.
I just think it's
unless you read the graphic novel.
People complain about anything and everything, and I don't think it's an issue. I mean,
achievement unlocked.
When people break a laptop, a new laptop or something like that, someone's going to complain about, yeah, mate, I got it out of the box and it didn't work. All right, so you're one of the unlucky ones.
Did you have it in your skinny jeans and sit on it?
Did you sit on it? So yeah, mate, I poured a bottle of water over it and it stopped
a bit of
working.
laptop,
like, no shit,
not a lap on, you dickhead.
But yeah. So you've got no problem buying the iPhone 6?
No,
if I were to get an iPhone these days, I'd probably still go for the regular 6 rather than the 6 Plus.
Mate, if it can't play Snake, don't talk to me.
But wants the old Nokia 3310.
The only thing I'm hoping is by the time February rolls, when they've sorted out the Gorilla Glass issue and got the new glass in it. Because the iPhone 6 Plus isn't, they're changing the glass on it.
Right.
They're changing. They've gone from I think Gorilla Glass is the new one they're using. but they've had a couple of manufacturing issues. They can only do it on the small at the moment, but they're hoping to get the 6 sorted at 6 Plus sorted out soon to have that with the new glass on it.
Okay.
So hopefully that'll be sorted.
I'll
by
kind of
February.
say, in fairness, you're saying like, oh wait, Gorilla Glass. After Bendgate, the phone still worked and the screen was fine. It was just on the crook.
Is this
a bit.
glass made out of gorillas?
Yes.
Yes,
But
it is.
the only thing is I would say is the previous glass front, I did manage to break on my iPhone 5.
Yeah, I've seen people break iPhone 4s, and that was supposed to be Gorilla Glass as well.
So
glass is going to break, for fuck's sake, people. It's not indestructible, it's glass. Christ. And for all these people, look, mate, I can scratch it with my, look at my keys going over my screen, it's fine. I said, yeah, because the metal of your keys is softer than the glass, you bell end. That's the grit in your pocket that's going to scratch your fucking phone. Jesus Christ.
it's actually, well, in my case, it's because it hit on the corner. That's where actually, when you look at the photos of most people's phones that are broken, it's usually because it's hit on the corner.
Impact.
Yeah, that's what usually does it. Actually, I've got a son of mine showing me a brilliant photo of his friend's phone. His iPhone, and when they went back to find it, he dropped it in the road. It went over so many times, it was actually thinner than a normal iPhone.
Yeah.
It'd been squished. It was quite weird. It's like a good 2 millimeters thinner. They put his friends went and bought another one. They put a new one next to it, and it was a good 2 millimeters thinner where it just been squished. Quite amazing. You wouldn't think, I thought, there you go. That's how you make it thinner.
Yeah. Manufacturing process, just put it under a press. There you go. Sorted.
It's thinner now. What more do you want?
Do you think the phones are getting to the point where they're a little bit too thin now?
Yes.
They're too thin and they're too big.
Yeah. Yes, because they are. I must admit, I feel I probably will go for Plus. I'm in two minds about it because it is bordering on being a tablet now.
It's about half the size of your face.
Mm.
I mean, seriously, I've heard people say that they're using the 6 Plus instead of using a tablet now.
I can believe it's big enough. I mean, to be fair, for a long time, I used to use my iPhone 5 instead of a tablet. I have a tablet, but for a long while, I just used that. Even when I had my tablet, I used to use that as an ebook reader. But other than that, I used to use my iPhone 5.
Yep. So
I can see that. I used to watch it. I used to watch Netflix on it and everything. So
I think the only thing on the Plus that I like that isn't in the 6 is the optical image stabilization on the camera. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Bendgate. Bunch of bullshit. Phones break.
Live with it.
Deal with it.
You got about the Rift in here?
Oh yeah, okay. So I was just giving it some thought about the Oculus Rift. As much as we kind of go on about it and say,
don't put it in your back pocket.
Yeah, don't put it in the back pocket.
No.
That's got Samsung Note 3 screens in it. Don't, you'll break them.
Yeah.
Don't put them in your pocket. That'd just be stupid. Wasting all that money on a dev kit and then sitting on it, idiots. But I was giving it some thought. The 3D stuff wouldn't really work for me.
Well, you mentioned this the other month because you're
yeah, because I'm blind in one eye. So I'm thinking to myself, the only thing the Rift would be any good for me for is a head tracker for stuff like Euro Truck and that.
Yeah, but although a 3D wouldn't work, you'd still be able to, like you say, you used to look around your cab and stuff.
Yeah, I can still use it for the whole immersion aspect of it, but like a lot of the stuff that people.
Well, you see, I'll be interested to see how well it works on me as well because I've got a problem with my eyes, and that when I was young, I had a squint, and I had to cut away some of the muscle in my eye to make it so I didn't look constantly cross-eyed. Mm-hmm. That means my eyes don't actually line up quite right, which means I haven't got proper depth perception. Mm-hmm. So I can work out depth, but I couldn't say how far I am from this wall to that wall. Up close, I can do it right, but any distance, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. So I don't appreciate 3D very well. Mm-hmm. Decent 3D I can see, but so it might not work that marvelous for me either, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But I just like the idea of, as you say, being immersed in your game.
Yeah, I'm actually just tempted to get a ton of the old super wide LG screens and just put them on my desk.
I'm tempted to get myself a Track IR now.
Oh, I yeah.
I just see potential to troll people with screamers.
Top of Track IR though, although it's quite old, it's still really expensive. They're still about 150 quid for a setup. So although they are meant to be really good, I'm not sure if I'm 150 quid good. Because they're about 5 years old. You think they'd have dropped in price a little bit.
Says the guy that spent 170 quid on a steering wheel for an £8 game. Oh
yeah, but it's got a
but it's a good £8 game.
Immersion.
Mate, I've according to Steam, I'm now on 112 hours on that game, which is probably not far off the truth, to be fair.
Damn,
You're catching up on some of my longer played games. There.
I actually checked. I actually checked on my other consoles because a lot of my consoles now actually have stat logs in them, kind of like how Steam does, to see how long I played them. Yeah, let's just say Wii U and 3DS. I've spent more time on Street Pass games on my 3DS than I have on any other game. On
you would have done? When is that passive Street Pass games, or is that
Street Pass is in actually actively playing the mini games? I've spent more time playing those than I have actual games on the system. Yeah. And the only game on the Wii U that I've actually put proper time into, like semi-hardcore game time, is 1 month. I put something like 40 hours into Monster Hunter. I was like, most people put more than that in a week. So I've put in peanuts across all of my consoles. It's really quite sad.
It is.
You're letting the side down.
I don't know.
Speaking of Euro Truck.
Yes, Euro Truck. So, Steam sales. We've mentioned them a few times.
Good things.
Fucking hell. So, after I picked up was it the last podcast I was talking about how happy I was that I managed to pick up a couple of these games pretty cheap?
Yeah.
I picked up Titanfall on the cheap, and then it turns out I paid like £2 more after a PayPal charge for Titanfall, which weren't bad because I paid peanuts for it anyway.
Yeah.
So it went on sale afterwards, so I spent more. Well, Euro Truck went on sale not long after. I think I spent about £8 on it. But then it went for that was for the game and the gold edition. And then Steam had a big old sale, £10, and you could have got the whole set with DLC and all this kind of stuff. I was like, you complete bastards. Which really
to be fair,
about £2 more again. But
yeah, I had the same thing because I spent 20 quid on Euro Truck, and then it went on sale on Steam.
Yeah. I've had that a lot actually recently. Like I've found games really cheap, bought them, and then been skinned by a sale come up or whatever. But
I now have a rule that I don't buy games that goes on sale now.
Well,
but I don't begrudge that. I've had a lot of hours out of it, so I don't begrudge.
When it first comes out, you always say if you buy when it first comes out, because you know it's not going to go on sale for a while.
I think for a game that's only a year old, 20 quid is an unreasonable amount.
I mean, I'm not bothered because I only lost like £2 on each, and I did see one game, Final Fantasy 13, had a pre-order deal where it was like £9 and the retail price was 12. I was like, fuck off, that game sucks anyway. I'm only going to lose a couple quid on that. I was like, fuck off. What a great deal. We're going to save you like 3 pence. I was like, no thanks. No thanks, guys. I'll tell you what, you give me money and I'll play that game. But just no. Steam sales can be a real pain in the ass, though. A real pain in the ass.
It can be irritating when they come on just after you've bought something.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 4's on Steam now, isn't it?
4 and 13.
But apparently the version of 4 is really bad, like emulation.
4 is the 3DS game, I believe.
Yeah. But it's the Android version scaled up and is apparently awful.
Yeah, probably. And the Android version is basically just a port of the 3DS game.
So it's a port.
Because Final Fantasy 3 was put on the Ouya, the 3DS version. And I was super hyped about that. Only to find that they'd done the same, Square Enix had done the same thing on Ouya as they had done for Android users. In that, because Ouya is an Android console, but we thought they'd have learned from their mistake with Final Fantasy 3.
Suck.
They had decided that you buy the game, you play the game. If you want to play the game, you have to be connected to the internet or it shits and just turns off.
What?
It was basically treating you like a thief after you'd paid for the game. You had to connect the internet to verify the fact that you purchased it. And I was just like, are you kidding me? What if you're on an Ouya and you can't get access to the internet? Because, sorry, but Gen 1 Ouya, internet access on the thing was wonky as hell. Using Wi-Fi? No, that wouldn't work. You had to be sat like 1.5 foot away from your router or have it bolted to the side of your router to get a Wi-Fi connection out of that motherfucker. Playing that game? Not going to happen. I paid 15 quid for that game on Ouya. Something like that. Or $15 or whatever.
You fool.
Yeah, I know. I was a fucking idiot. Considering I already owned it on 3DS. But at the time, it was the only decent game to test on Ouya. But Square Enix, they'll never learn. Never learn.
No. Perhaps you'll get past if they treat you so much like criminal, they'll ban you from it.
Yes. Bannings. So we're going over to my Diablo 3.
Yeah.
And what was that? With that
I'm
last
trying to
podcast
find
as
a
well?
connection between every
Yeah, you're
story.
like the master of segues in this episode.
Yeah.
I should give you an award. We'll build you a sheep in Minecraft.
I'm building one already.
We'll build you a cloud. So what was it in the last episode? I said that I didn't even have a character in
And you
Diablo
got
3 before I
banned.
got banned. So just giving it some thought. What actually happened was I'd made a character but hadn't actually logged on with the character.
Right.
And I'd still managed to get banned. Just by creating a character. Nothing obscene. Like just seriously bog standard barbarian named Skazz banned. No, I couldn't even be called Skazz. Because Blizzard deemed it offensive.
Really?
Even though I had a warrior in World of Warcraft with the same name.
How the heck's that offensive?
Fucking, I don't know.
I've never heard any derogatory then. I mean, I've never heard Skazz referred to as a derogatory
Blizzard
name.
suck. I'm saying a lot of companies suck this podcast, but it's true.
Well, that's because most companies do suck. They suck.
They do.
Blizzard lost a lot of money recently, haven't they?
Good.
Suck.
They completely abandoned a game they're developing after $7 million worth of investment into it.
That was that
Really?
fucking World of Warcraft 2.
No, it was not quite sure what they were, but they just said they wasn't working out how they wasn't being as fun as they hoped it was going to be, so they just abandoned it.
So why haven't they abandoned World of Warcraft yet?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people still pay for it.
Rock and Roll Racing, Lost Vikings. That's where the money is.
Yeah, Lost Vikings. That was a good game.
That was a wicked
Oh,
game.
Baleog. And Olaf and
Yeah.
Eric the Sword.
Yeah, brilliant games.
So you didn't even get to watch with your character. You didn't even get long games. You didn't even watch get any of the in-game films with your character. Then, leading on to
Oh yes. Look at that! He's fucking losing expert. So films, we completely missed this in the last episode.
Yeah.
Brad said it out loud, and we completely missed.
I missed it when I rewatched on bloody YouTube.
What
But I
did we
watched
miss?
it.
So we were chatting away, and we were talking about films, and I said about what was it we were talking about, which brought us onto Hot Fuzz.
Oh, I
talking
can't
about
remember. I can't remember now.
like Hot Fuzz was to basically make British cops look cool, to have like a cool car.
What
Yeah.
made me laugh though is we've been watching that fucking video with that London England thing in it, and there's a bit in it where a guy goes London, and it just made me think of that. It was all
Yeah,
funny.
for sure. Hot Fuzz, I thought was one of their better films.
I'd
The
like to
Cornetto
see.
trilogy.
Now you're coming from someone here who I don't like Shaun of the Dead.
See, Bard had never seen.
I
Hot Fuzz.
I used to love Spaced, so I like Simon Pegg's work. I watched Shaun of the Dead, and I was just like, and everyone around me loved it. Probably why I hated it, because everyone hyped it up to be brilliant, and I watched it, and I was just like,
I thought it was a pretty good film.
It was okay. I didn't dislike
it's not
it.
as good as Hot Fuzz.
but then I watched Hot Fuzz today, funnily enough, because of the podcasting, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch Hot Fuzz so I could talk about it. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. Thought it was well funny. I laughed quite a few times through it. Whereas, yeah, Shaun of the Dead, I was something, yeah, whatever. It's all right. But yeah, no, this was definitely better. And the fact that there's loads of different celebrities, like comedians and stuff in it. Like you got Bill Bailey and all that in it.
Yeah,
That was great.
I liked Shaun of the Dead because of the way it was filmed. Because it was filmed in kind of a, B-roll.
I don't know
And
what
they played Time Stories 2 in it as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Shaun of the Dead. I don't know. But then again, you see, I'm not a big zombie fan. Anything to do with zombies. I mean, I like some zombie stuff, but
In fairness, neither am I. But now that I think about it, thinking back to it, I think Shaun of the Dead came out around the same time that I used to spend a lot of my time down the pub.
Yeah.
So,
I love it. It's such a British response. Let's go to the pub.
yeah, pretty much.
I spent a lot of my time
zombies
around the
outside.
pub
Screw
too.
it.
The bit I like the most is when they just sort of walking around. They just walk on a corner and they meet another group of survivors. who
Exactly
just,
like
they're like them. It's like
They just practically mirror them, just like as they start walking past.
they all say hiya as they all pass out.
Yeah, because they were all old friends, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were supposed to be from space.
That was it. Yeah.
I thought it was an alright film. Hot Fuzz is definitely
Definitely
a
up there.
must-watch film.
There's so many. Hot Fuzz had me laughing out loud at places in it.
Oh yeah,
There's so
me
many bits that
too.
laugh out loud. I love the woman on the bicycle when she gets both guns. And that was brilliant.
That was a weird.
some of the obvious
funny
jokes
film.
made me laugh when he runs through the fence. I found quite amusing after like the other dude just like jumped and flipped
Yeah,
over all
yeah.
these fences. Just run through it.
Because they basically pull in a lot of the old jokes from Shaun of the Dead. And
Yeah.
then bring them back for
Well, it's part of the thing because there's actually a trilogy
it's
of
the
films.
Cornetto
Yeah.
trilogy.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say that everyone had thought that was it Run Fat Boy Run or whatever it was.
I thought it was Paul. I thought it was the end of the Cornetto trilogy.
See, that was another film I couldn't get into as well.
You see, a lot of people thought that the old Fat Boy was going to be the end, and then
It's at World's End, which
yeah.
I've not seen yet.
It's actually pretty good. It's
Yeah,
weird
I
because
thought
it kind of
so.
reminds me of us lot back in college.
I keep meaning to buy. I keep meaning to watch it. I've not actually got around to watching it yet.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Good.
So, I'm not going to spoil anything for you.
Good. I'll
Just a
watch it.
pub
I'll
crawl.
watch it. I'll enjoy it. Now, of course, in Hot Fuzz, you've got the supermarket, and supermarkets sell sausages.
Yes, and
Yes.
I just wanted to bring up the whole idea of sausages being kind of stuck in turd.
Yes. Well, we talked about weird news last month, fermenting sausages. We weren't sure what fermenting sausages meant.
So you've looked it up?
I googled it, and fermenting is what we would call curd sausages, i.e., salami.
Marvelous.
So, salami is a fermented sausage.
Great.
If anyone wondered why I just said that, it's because there's a smelly cat name in it. Go away.
Sausages.
There we go.
Yes, the aliens. Let the aliens back again. So, yeah.
Vicious animal.
So, if anyone wants what fermented sausages, that is it. And I'm sure most salami isn't made in infant poo.
Although now we can't really be too sure.
No.
We will never look at a salami the same way again.
No, you won't actually, I suppose. Particularly if it's a very sort of dark browny meat coloured salami.
It's like dark brown and it's wrapped in Pampers.
No, I have on good authority that you can win salamis at Pachinko machines. I don't know if
Right.
that's true. I'm just saying it's either link. We talked about you mentioned that you thought that Sega might have had a big
You know, I think
involvement.
that's a whole load of baloney, to be honest.
Very good.
Tickets still available for Bard and Ram.
Oh,
show.
yes.
We do dances, we do songs, we do everything.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Pachinko.
Pachinko. You said that you thought last month that Sega got a
Yeah.
lot of its revenue for Pachinko. You are technically correct, sort of. They merged with a company called Sammy, and Sammy used to make all the machines, so it's now Sega Sammy. So now they do effectively get a large chunk of their money from Pachinko, but that was about 2003 they merged.
Mhm.
So that's where it came from. So yeah, so Sega still does.
Oh, I wasn't saying it was Sega from the old days. I was just
No.
saying that Sega now currently own a lot of money from
Curse you,
Pachinko.
Shenmue,
And
for
Konami-
giving my
and
me
Konami
my
were
the
Pachinko
guys.
addiction.
Well,
From-
Box Repair Company, yeah.
Yeah.
Repair and rental company.
Now, see, now, if you were to play Hyperdimension Neptune, a lot of those references are in that game. A
Oh,
lot of that old history. is
including the
there.
fermented sausages.
Yeah, including baby shit sausages.
Good. Perfect. Oh,
Nice.
Oh, hang on. 2 copies of show notes here.
Oh no, it's trippy.
Right.
Show's over.
Because you put mine up.
Weird news. Our favourite section.
We've already discussed Pachinko machines and deli meats, you know, so does it get much weirder?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Next one looking.
Now,
Then, Ram, what you got?
well, I do like people when they do these silly feats of try endurance and sort of try and do something stupid, and you know it's
they're
never
putting
going
their
to work.
iPhone in their pocket.
Yeah, or like try and sort of like single-handedly like sail like a dinghy like 2,000 miles around the world, that sort of thing. And inevitably they end up either A, getting killed, or B, getting
Love it when
stranded,
people
and
do
we
that.
have to spend a large amount. Then some countries got to spend a large amount of money rescuing them. Well, an attempt by an Iranian exile to travel 1,000 miles from Florida to Bermuda in a giant inflatable ball has ended in failure. So his name's Renza Baluchi. He's an endurance runner. He's been rescued by US Coast Guard after he got fatigued.
What did he travel about 3 feet off the coast?
No, apparently quite well. He was hoping that he developed the device himself. It's called a hydropod. And he told me to raise money for children and inspire those who have lost hope for a better future. Presumably the idea is if you have one better future, you need to get in a flammable ball and walk across the sea somewhere. He had planned everything to survive it, including saying that he's an excellent fisherman and he would survive on protein bars when he was unable to catch his fish. So presumably this big ball has a hole in it somewhere.
What it sounds like is one of those ginormous
Hamster
inflatable
balls, yeah.
from what you see in them amusement parks.
Yeah, what they call I've forgot the name of them now. Zoot balls?
Pretty expensive.
Thought they are, yes.
Kind of fun though.
He got rescued 70 nautical miles off the US coast.
What happened then? So he just got tired.
He got tired and couldn't carry on.
So Katamari.
What which I want to know is surely someone thought about this because he's got to do 1,000 miles. Surely he must have thought that's a long way.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I presume he had some idea for how he's going to sort of either sleep
Look, it's like 70 miles. It's basically gone and got past Norwich, and that's like an entire day's walk.
Yeah.
From here.
The Coast Guard had said, you know,
what a complete bell.
Yeah, though they had said, look, what you're doing is very dangerous. Can you please not do it? And he decided to carry on anyway. Now, this is where I get annoyed. Okay. When a nation's Coast Guard says to you, look, seriously, this is not a good idea. We're the experts on boats. We're experts on the sea. Don't do this, and you refuse. I think they should be in their right to say, we're not going to rescue you.
Yeah.
They say, look, you said you have to go on. You've made your bed, now lay on it.
Here's my question here. The Coast Guard would have probably got done if they'd have refused to go out and get him, though, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Someone would have got seriously fucked up.
I just said, well, that's all right. Aquaman can save him. He's in Aquaman's territory.
I think what she's done is, accidentally torpedoed him. The Navy must have been nearby somewhere. I'm sure they had a submarine spare.
That's probably one of them old foreign pirates looking to have a documentary made about it. We sent a shark to save him. It went a bit wrong.
Yeah. So, you know, at least I think he should be He should be made to pay for the rescue operation.
Yeah, for wasting.
It's like that. Do you say there's a girl who basically, I think at age 17, she tried to sail solo around the world, and everybody said she's too young to do it. Don't do it. She shouldn't do it. Tried to be on a yacht room to do it. She ended up sailing so well, got stranded and had to be rescued by the South African Coast Guard. They basically said, you know, this costs an awful lot of money because her parents were very rich. They still said, no, we're not going to pay anything. They then started up a Kickstarter project to raise funds for them to go retrieve her boat. If I was South Africa, I would have declared it, you know, salvage and took it back with me.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
That's what I did. I thought, you cheeky bastard.
I was going to say, lucky in South Africa, she could be picked up by pirates.
Probably.
I was crack a joke about him getting, like, she got rescued by some random geezers on a little raft. But
ended up on the rat ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell are they doing? I haven't had an email from them guys in ages.
It's got to. They still say it takes some time to get here.
Taking their time.
They might have passed. Well, it's very hard to steer when you're a rat.
Come on.
You lots of you.
It's just taking the mic.
Perhaps it's decided that, you know, it wasn't worth coming to Britain. They've gone somewhere like more useful, like France.
What an upgrade! I actually had something really bad from someone the other day. I was like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about that. They're fucking French." Like a serious, really important thing relating to, you know, I don't know, health and cheating the system and that. So yeah, don't worry, they don't care about that kind of stuff. They're French. I was like, you said that the French are fucking idiots or something. So, you know, a little bit, no, I'm not saying anything. I was like, I'm pretty sure you can't get away with, you know, telling us to do that, but okay, good job.
Okay. Do you know why he's an Iranian refugee?
I don't really care, but go on.
He was arrested in Iran for anti-Islamic activities, including eating during the Ramadan and association with counter-revolutionaries.
Whoop-de-doo. Now he's wasting everyone's time.
Have you ever been caught? You know, I know you don't use your social media, Facebook anymore, but you know, Facebook tags you and Twitter tags you when you post stuff.
Yeah.
Occasionally, have you ever seen people like get caught out by they say, oh, calling sick for work or something? They go and say, oh, I'm not feeling very well today. Tag like the
my
other side
old
of the
boss
country.
used to say, if you're going to go out on a piss up, don't be stupid enough to put it on Facebook because we will find out.
Yeah.
Well, it can get very serious depending on your position. A senior spokesman for the Taliban is denying that he's in Pakistan after Twitter tagged him there. Zabadahullah Mujahid appeared to have his location tagged by his Twitter account on his Twitter update as being in Sindh, Pakistan. He then said it was an enemy plot. What the enemy is going to gain from a plot of
he
making...
wasn't trolling like that other dude, was he? Eating during Ramadan. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ.
After his notice of labeling, he tweeted, my Twitter account has been manipulated. As part of weak efforts to have an enemy plot, it showed that I am based in Sindh, Pakistan. I call this attempt as fake and shame. Now the enemy's fake has been exposed, and with full confidence, I can say that I'm in my own country. It's basically saying he's still in Afghanistan. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You're not fooling anybody. What benefit would your enemy have by tagging you somewhere? Unless they're going to tag, I mean, if they want to be upset, unless they're going to tag you like sort of Joe's Pork Imperium or something like that, that's not going to make much difference to you, is it?
Well, you say that, but that was obviously big enough to generate shame somewhere. So he had to go. Oh my god!
Or more like he didn't want to be found out he's in Pakistan. It's like, I just imagine the moment he's still there. Oh shit! I wonder who his followers are.
No, but that's my point. In that, he had
Do
to come up with
you
some
think?
kind of
Well, I'd
dodge.
love to know if one of his like the U.S. Marines. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, cheers for that.
Rocking on Twitter.
Oh dear. On to penis news. A hotel worker has had to have 2 pints of blood removed from his penis after he got an erection for 17 hours. I do question the 2 pints of blood. That seems an awful lot of blood to remove from one person. Doctors first tried to slow his blood flow by injecting his penis 24 times, but don't know what
the fuck did he do? Go to that Viagra fucking...
I think he must have had some
the
Chinese
Viagra
beer.
brewery. Yeah, exactly. Look, what the fuck's going on? What do you do? Drink a case?
That didn't work.
Wire a keg into his...
The erection started on a Friday morning, and he woke up with morning glory after sleeping with a friend. He tried various things, including jogging, an ice bath, before he was taken to hospital by his housemates who was in hysterics. At what point in your life do you have...
does he realise that people have been grinding Viagra pills into his food for the last couple of weeks?
Now, obviously, he's very embarrassed by this, and he's very distraught by it, and he's all he wants to keep their profile. So, of course, he went to the Sun. Ending up in hospital with a permanent erection. It was probably the most embarrassing day of my life. So embarrassing, I said he went and spoke to the Sun.
Why would it be embarrassing? This looks suggesting you can keep it up that long.
It is meant to. I have heard. I have heard if you have an erection for more than 90 minutes, you is declared a medical emergency. You need to go to a hospital.
Wow.
The human phallus was not designed to stay up for that long.
Whoop-de-doo.
So presumably, it's now permanently disabled.
Claim the benefits. What's wrong with you?
He's got a cock like an iPhone 6.
Yeah. Apparently, watching them stab his penis with a needle was a horrible experience. I imagine it would be. Pain was 10 out of 10. He said that his penis is a bit black and blue at the moment, but presumably it's on the mend. On the bend.
Woo, good job there, Nick. That one wasn't quite as good as your others.
Yeah, no, I'm slipping a little bit now. On to suspicious children news.
You're drooping a bit.
On a suspicious children news, a bride-to-be has had to confess to having sex with a dwarf stripper on a hen night when she gave birth to a child with dwarfism.
Nice.
Yeah. It was only when the baby was born. It was also this girl that had dwarfism.
Come in small packages.
This girl had dwarfism, and then she basically admitted that on her hen night she had a one-night thing with a dwarf stripper.
Nice.
Where you booked a dwarf stripper from, I don't know. I mean, up to the point he thought the child his wife became was his. To be fair, she might have done as well. Because you never know. Well, if they had sex or face shortly afterwards, as large as could be.
Whoop-de-doo.
I love it. That's great.
Considering the other shit that's been going on with like 20-year-old boner man, this shit ain't weird. Moving on. This is like a regular Saturday night.
Weird. Oh, whoa! Sorry. The weird part about it was the fact that she had sex with a dwarf stripper.
Have you shit? Look, seriously, mate. We are posting shit on the internet. I'm sure there's way worse shit than that going on every Saturday night down
mate.
the
I don't think
pub.
anything I'm sure if you read.
If the wolf stripper and Burner Man were the same person, that just would have been the best story ever.
That's 2 pints of blood. A lot of blood to lose for a dwarf. I mean,
Nick, what are you saying? Poor bastard.
Now we like the dwarves, like Warwick.
He's just got a huge cock, clearly.
Love the way you had to say under your breath how much you like Warwick Davis.
It's a good chat.
I remember that Warwick Davis, he had to roll it up to fit into the Ewok costume.
Yeah. I just vision as George to say, right, just keep. Don't let anyone see the Ewok below the waist. Just sort of keep it out of shot, please.
One of his parents was a Wookiee.
There's all these sort of like scene shot of like the Ewok just sort of standing with like a log in front of him. Oh, sorry, Warwick.
We love you, Warwick. You're awesome.
Now, I don't think it's a thing over here, but in America, it seems quite a thing to have sex in the back of a car. It just seems to be the thing to do over there, from what I gather.
I don't know. I don't have a
I've
car.
heard lots of stories of people having sex first in the back of a car. I've never known anyone in Britain to do that. It must be an American thing. It just seems awfully impractical. Well, but it's even more impractical if said car was a police car.
With a dwarf stripper with a 90-minute erection.
So basically, the couple got pulled over for drunken driving. And after they got put in the back of a deputy sheriff's vehicle and started having sex in there.
Sure,
they've been the man was sentenced to 90 days in jail.
One man, so we're talking about what?
The man was sentenced for the incident. Basically, the reason he got like a short, long times. He's got a lengthy criminal record history and disrespect of law enforcement, which I'm guessing he must have. He's going to have sex in the back of a police car. The other lady was sentenced for 48 days for drunken driving, disorderly conduct. On to children news.
We've already had weird dwarfish fucking boner man news. So,
have your kids ever found something unusual in their morning cereal?
No, my children don't eat cereal.
All right. What do they eat? Food, I presume?
Yeah.
Star Wars cereal. This wicked toy looks weird.
A 4-year-old boy was left in tears after he found a condom in a bowl of Tesco's own brand cornflakes. Tesco's response was offered them £20 compensation.
It was you.
He's been looked after by his uncle fiance when he made the whole discovery. The one who asked not to be named, so the youngster did not know what condom was and began screaming as he saw the shiny packet bobbing his breakfast, which seems odd because I'm sure most children would see his shiny packet bobbing breakfast. Oh, toy!
Yeah, prize.
Oh, look, I've got a long water balloon.
At least it was in a packet, man.
Oh,
no,
no,
it could have been
no,
so much worse.
No. Apparently, she felt fobbed off after Tesco offered her a £20 gift voucher, not even money, just a gift voucher and a bunch of flowers.
Tight bastards, in fairness. No one cares about Tesco. Do they?
Apparently, her boyfriend, who came home, what was going on, was disgusted.
Yeah, sure, he was probably hiding the rubbers in there. Oh no, that's probably the weirdest part of the news. That's where I put the rubbers when, fuck it, we're in the kitchen. Why not? Where you put them? In the cereal.
Apparently, she isn't after any money, but she told Tesco's it's the worst thing that she had found, and she's stressed about the whole thing.
She's found worse then? Rusty nails.
I'm suspicious of that story. The fiance of an uncle found a condom. Where were they storing their condoms?
That's what I'm saying, mate.
That's what I'm suspicious of.
That's where you put them. Fucking put them where no one's going to look, because that shit's cardboard vile.
Mm.
Put them in your Lucky Charms.
Talking about putting things down and squeezing them. On to cow milking news.
No, you're getting really bad at this, dude.
I'm trying.
Seriously, this one's a flop.
Piss off. Basically, there's a competition for.
Mind, mate.
There's been a competition for milking cows recently in Brazil, in Italy. The person who won it managed to, along with her bovine companion, managed to produce 8.7 litres of milk in 2 minutes. However, the bovine has now been accused of doping. Now, there's a reason for this. 2 pints
of blood, 8.7 litres of milk. Yeah.
There's a reason for this. There is a reason for this doping accusation. It's because in previous years, when they've done it, they've only on average about 2 litres. So all the top 3 are averaging 7 litres plus. That's a bit of a jump. Apparently, for the 2013 champion, he said, for competition this level, I'd expect strong anti-doping checks on the cows and milkers. I want to know what drug the milk can take that makes it like so effective. The milk goes really, really quickly. I'm sorry, that noise I did was not the sign of a cow being milked. I can't do a cow milking impression. So that sounds like suckling. That sounds even worse.
Yeah, Nick, you've got the wrong idea when it comes to milking them cows.
I wondered why I was going wrong.
You wonder why all the other farmers are giving you dodgy looks,
Yeah.
eh?
Apparently, the judges checked the cows for tampering for an hour, and there were 8 of them. Judges, that is, not cows. So, yeah.
It's not really weird news, to be honest. That's kind of, you know.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to start pruning weird news, mate. It's not like any of this stuff's blowing my mind.
Well, it's been a crap 2 weeks. I had to work with what I got.
Oh, the dwarf and the 90-minute penis man was kind of
17-hour penis man.
17 hours, fucking hell.
And the condom in the breakfast cereal.
I'm thinking 90
probably
minutes.
the same couple.
90 minutes is the time that it's advisable to go to hospital, is it? I'll keep that in mind if I have an erection for more than 90 minutes.
Yeah, that is the recommended medical emergency time. I want. I've just got a vision now. You know, there's that AHS non-direct number you can ring. It's like, hello, what's the problem? I've got an erection.
Like,
this
yeah,
is
for 90 minutes.
Help! I can't close the door.
Help! I'm stuck. I've got it closed in the door.
You know, the police like to pick up abandoned vehicles and confiscate them and so forth.
Especially people have been shagging in the back of them.
Yes. I mean, you'd hope that someone's got a reasonably posh vehicle probably look to get collected before that happens. Well, the owner of a £250,000 Lamborghini didn't. Because he ran out of petrol on London Bridge. So the police came to assist the driver. They discovered that he had an outstanding harassment warrant. They then discovered the supercar's personalised license plates still belonged to a Range Rover V8. So he either changed the plates and hadn't notified DVLA, which is illegal, or he was putting a fast one. So the car was left there for 12 hours because it wasn't obstructing traffic, and then it was removed and been locked up. The man he's been bailed, but he could face a hefty fine from DVLA because of his car license. I'd hope in a situation that, I mean, I've never run out of petrol in a car. I know, admittedly, they are quite guzzly, but I think it's quite tricky to run out of petrol in a car, really. I mean, it beeps you to tell you need to fill up.
Yeah, but you say that, mate, but a beep and a Lambo's like, right, beep. Oh, wait, now you're dry.
Yeah. But very few, it can't be using that much petrol going through the city of London.
Fucking London, you can use 2/3 of a tank going from one red light to the next.
Yeah.
That's literally 15 feet.
Yeah.
Fucking, why would anyone drive in London? That's the worst part of the story.
I don't want to live in London. It's fucking a horrible place.
Idiots.
Horrible place, London. It's smelly and full of dog poo. No.
As opposed to the countryside, the smelly, full of fucking pig shit.
Yeah, at least you keep it in piles contained
plenty
somewhere.
Of fermented sausages in both places, I guess.
The only place worse than London is Paris.
Paris. Poor old French bastards are getting hard luck this time, aren't they?
If London is, I don't know, if London's like sort of like, you know, a rundown council state, Paris is like sort of the sewer system. It is such a shithole dive, Paris. I've been there twice, and both times it was a shithole. Don't know why.
You're going to change all of Paris for Nick.
The French are getting it pretty bad, this podcast.
I went there, and I thought, they all got about it's a city of love. No, it's a city of dog poo. Everywhere, there's just piles and mounds of it.
Is that your only complaint, that Paris is full of shit?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and the French are rude.
Because they're French. What else have they got to do?
Yeah, okay.
Didn't we talk in one of the previous episodes about a Chinese book of etiquette when they were supposed to go abroad? Maybe it's not they're being rude to you. It's like they just think that you're a dick from England.
No, you go, and if you try and speak the language, they don't sort of think, bless. They think you're trapped. They think, you're trapped for not even learning French fluently before you even came over here for your 4-day trip.
In fairness, there are a couple of villages in Spain where if you go over there and you don't speak the lingo, even if you attempt, they won't. They'll just snub you.
They should be a bunch of bastards. Then you should be able to accept. I mean, when people come over,
we don't accept like Polish folk come over
when
here
someone comes here, if they try and speak English, I'll happily work with them. I'll happily talk to them because at least they try.
England's pretty accommodating people who don't speak English.
Yeah,
it's
so we are bloody good, but no one else can be perfect. You bunch of bastards.
I love how that was fairly English. You bunch of bastards. So, oh, okay.
You going fucking farmer on us, boy. So, remember that time when...
I've got nothing. I mean, I got nothing. I just, just accept the fact we don't know the language. At least if we try, that's something. I mean, what would you rather? We go there and shout at you very loudly and then slowly?
Yeah. That's
obviously what they prefer.
Yeah. They think it's fucking hilarious.
Rude. And the Eiffel Tower's a piece of crap. I spent ages walking up it. And what do you get to top? But just a metal wall. You get to see nothing. Just
I could be
Paris
completely
again.
wrong.
Hating on France, man. That's brilliant.
Random fact of the day that could be complete horse wank. Eiffel Tower designed by the same bloke that did the Statue of Liberty.
Not sure it's the same bloke, but I know Statue of Liberty was French. And
Yeah,
that was
it was
given to
given
New
to the
York. I don't know if it's the same
Americans,
bloke though.
What's the point, though? What is the point?
Do you know? I know you said it came flat pad. It wasn't quite. It did come disassembled. The statue.
For a minute, I was using like fucking. Yeah, mate. They just send it over there.
The Eiffel Tower and a flat pack. I'm just loving that.
Come on from IKEA.
I've just got a vision now. Okay,
bits.
this is they get in. Like it says box 1 of 252,000. Oh no, I'm missing a box.
They had a couple fucking random geezers there, a couple foreigners there, a couple British blokes there with scratching their asses.
All you got to do is for little pink goose, not move on his own. Look.
You can imagine the size of the instruction, man. They're sitting there just look. You can just see the people saying, "Well, no, the time must go here."
What?
What part is that?
That's all fucking girders. What part is that? How many bits have we got with H on it?
Do you think you know when you fly a gazebo and you have to hold like all three corners up simultaneously? Right, everybody hold a girder. Everybody hold a girder. My feet.
Fucking everyone hold a girder. Hanging up the top.
Try and lock it together. Help!
Quick, get the gaffer's tape.
Yeah. I'm missing some bolts. I don't worry. I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. There you go. Fucking hell together.
I think we should take Nick to Paris for a podcast.
Oh God,
trip.
no!
We should go to the top of the Eiffel Tower and see how it's held together.
I'd rather gouge my eyes out.
Really? That'll be an
Yeah.
interesting podcast.
I've got a friend who's got family in France. When he next goes back home, we should take Nick with us. Go stay with his family. It'd be brilliant.
Oh,
I'm sure the outlying place is probably a lot nicer. Just Paris is a dive. Have you ever had a Paris syndrome?
No.
It's that every year Japanese embassy have to repatriate a lot of their tourists because they go over to Paris and they get such a shock. And
About how shite it is.
Yeah, they suffer what they call Paris syndrome.
And
they have to get repatriated back to Japan. Early.
Hey? So what are they doing then? What do they do?
They go over there.
Like shell shock. They go over and
Oh my God!
There's not poo everywhere.
So they come back freaking out, start like throwing shit over the floors and that.
Basically, yeah.
All right.
They said it was all for one and one for all. They lied. Oh,
What a
dear.
bunch of uncivilized bastards. That really would be like what happens if we went to North Korea. And
Yeah.
can we be all like, "I see, this is why I don't want to be part of that." Look at these fucking monkeys. Fucking idiots. Jesus Christ. Look at them with their podcast.
They love us. They love us.
Wait, do you need to say get well?
The
get
North
well soon,
Koreans
Kim.
right now are laughing about that French joke a minute ago. They killed themselves.
All I say is,
over it,
Kim, get well soon. Unless you have been deposed. Then, is Kim's successor? Good luck. So
They're still laughing at our Warwick Davis joke. He's pretty big over there in North Korea, I'm sure.
well, they're all very short over there.
Oh dear.
Shall we end this before I default too many more people?
Well, we've already offended Ewoks and the French, so
No, the French deserve it.
See, it's not us that people complain about. This is bad.
Come on, let's end this podcast.
Fuck it, go on.
Where can you find us?
Well, fictional characters.
Our website is www.randnerds.com. You can follow us on Twitter at randnerds.
I'm Mark Graves. If we keep this up, I should think.
YouTube.com, obviously, youtube.com/roundnerds. If you're an audio listener, come join us on that. Google Plus, you can find us at plus.google.com/plus-roundnerds. First word, second one is a symbolic representation of the word plus. You can find us on facebook.com/roundnerds. We've got a Steam community called Round Nerds, and you can also email us at comments@roundnerds.
Can I say that was a very smooth outro, Ram?
Thank
Very
you.
smooth. I have going back to all the way back to episode 1. In 22 episodes, you've mastered the outro.
Yeah.
Rather than 500 outtakes of the same line.
Warwick, call me. Yeah, we're going to go on a trip to Paris, and we're taking him with us. It's gonna be brilliant.
Have you seen the Warwick Davis when he goes off with Carl Pilkington?
Yes,
That was brilliant. That was brilliant.
Warwick Davis has one of the best roles in the Actions movie.
he's got
On the
best
Quest
roles
of
in
the
like
Game
Show.
all of cinema. Willow is a kick-ass film.
Well, he's Warwick Davis. He plays Warwick Davis. It's
Wasn't he?
Virgil cut.
Wasn't he also R2D2, or was that somebody else?
That was Kenny Baker.
Oh. Okay. I realised I don't know who that is.
He's another dwarf. He's in lots of theatrical shows and stuff.
do lots of theatrical shows and stuff. He do, boy.
Last I saw Walt Davidson was in Doctor Who.
Apparently, he legit used to really annoy the guy that played C-3PO as well by playing pranks on him and stuff. So their relationship was kind of like it was in the films. Except now the guy who plays C-3PO really fucking hates Kenny Baker because he just used to piss him off all the time.
Yeah, he's
Brilliant.
Star Wars full stop.
Yeah. It's probably why he's getting hung on by a dwarf the whole time he was there. So my life has pretty much been reduced to panto.
I don't know what I do. It's like if he really annoys and shouts, people could just sort of like real R2D2 or somewhere.
Bang
like
on the
that.
lid. Like.
Like, oh, there's a cupboard over there. Just wheel you in there, knock you away. See you later. I can't get out. See you later.
Wasn't he the one that was like having a harder time though? Because I mean, Kenny, all he's got to do is lift the lid and climb out. C3PO.
Not if you put in a small cupboard, you can't.
He's sort of stuck in his armor. He has to move like this. Apparently, it's the most uncomfortable thing he's ever had to do.
And that's all it's ever been known for.
Oh dear.
Poor sod. Star Wars is such a curse, and all the actors who are in it. I think only I guess I did anything else afterwards. I think all the others just disappeared. And Harrison Ford, obviously. But all the others, Carrie Fisher. Although she did have a bit part in Dishonored.
Giant Bob Stroke back.
Was she?
Yeah, she was a nun.
Oh.
And Mark Hamill does lots of voice work now.
Cock knocker.
The Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Didn't they want to have it was they wanted to have as the Joker before they had Mark Hamill. He was too scary. I forget his name.
It's
Evil
too
Boy.
scary.
Yeah.
To be the Joker.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
They say he seemed a little bit too kind of
What, to voice the Joker?
yeah. Tim Curry.
All right.
Apparently.
Really?
He was gonna be
Tim Curry's in quite a lot of cartoons as
but
well.
he was a bit too evil.
Oh, brilliant.
That's something to be told. You're too scary to be the Joker.
I can't think of anyone else doing it but Mark Hamill now, though. He's just
No,
too
that's
weird.
that's one of the things where you couldn't imagine it being anyone else. Like, have you ever seen Demolition Man
Yeah.
with Wesley Snipes as Simon Phoenix? Ram, isn't that one?
Oh,
well,
you've got to see that. That's
No.
brilliant.
well,
3
basically,
seashells.
this one's gonna kind of skip over Ram then. But did you know that Simon Phoenix was originally be Jackie Chan?
No.
But
Interesting.
Jackie Chan turned down the role because he'd always played the good guy, and so they cast the role to Wesley Snipes, but in the same sense as Mark Hamill being the Joker. I can't
Wesley
imagine
Snipes
anyone
is
else
great in that role.
but Wesley Snipes being
But
Simon
isn't it a
Phoenix.
case of most film roles with actors and actors? Once you've seen them in it, you can't imagine anyone else.
You just
as
think to
it.
yourself, like, how could that have been,
Mm.
random dude, whatever.
Yeah, apparently David Bowie was
Well,
supposed to
of
be
course,
Elrond.
the famous one. The famous one was in Lord of the Rings. They actually had there was one chap who originally played Aragorn, was an Irish actor. And
like I just said, David Bowie was going to be Elrond. There
Oh,
were
was
loads
he?
of different characters that
well,
were supposed to
they
be
got
different.
five film loads of scenes with him. Did lots of he got his all his suits and everything as well. But then they decided actually he was crap and got rid of him.
I'm glad because Viggo Mortensen is the best
Hmm.
Aragorn ever.
If you see him, he doesn't do. I'll show a picture of him. He doesn't do the
I have like a book on Lord of the Rings. I was reading into all the stuff that happened behind the scenes. There is some cool stuff in Lord of the Rings. There's a bit in the film where he gets a knife thrown at him and he's meant to dodge it and he fucking deflects it with his sword. It wasn't meant to
Stuart
happen.
Townsend was originally going to play Aragorn.
And the bit where he
What else has not been in?
the bit where he kicks the helmet when like he thinks Merry and Pippin are dead, he breaks his fucking toe.
Yeah,
Like, he broke his toe and he just carried on acting. Like
Oh, fuck it.
he's brilliant. He's really good actor, Viggo Mortensen. He used to get into trouble when he was walking around.
it doesn't work, does it?
That's the dude that then went on to play one of the dwarves. He's Killy, isn't he? In The Hobbit. Oh, that's interesting.
If you suck too hard to play this character, so
So
here,
you
be
dwarf.
this one.
Bit of dwarf.
Speaking of dwarfs, the dude that played Gimli.
Yeah.
You know, in the scenes where I think it's in Two Towers where they're trying to knock down that door
yeah.
to get into the keep.
Toss me.
They said to the art department to make sure that not only does the door look strong, make it, you have to give them some real clout to get in, kind of thing. And apparently the art department went a bit over the top. So when they went to go whack it with the battering ram, they couldn't actually get in. And the guy that's playing Gimli is stood by the door taunting them in character.
Nice.
So look, he's not supposed to be.
He's
but
actually a scientist, isn't he? The guy, but he's actually a proper scientist as well.
we make it sound like
It's,
they're actors. They can't be that smart.
Well, usually that's the case.
Something
but
Rhys Davies' his name is, isn't it?
it's like the guy that the Russian boxer from Rambo.
Yeah.
Rambo.
That is not Rhys Davies.
Dolph Lundgren.
That is not Rhys Davies.
No,
What's
it's
his
something.
name?
It's RHYS Rhys Davies. That's his second name, Rhys. I can't think of his first name.
Russian boxer from Rocky. Who was also
Dolph
in,
Lundgren.
Yeah, the guy who was also
John Rhys
in-
Davies.
There you
there we
go.
go.
fucking what's his? Oh yeah, Sly Stallone. I was about to say Rambo's film Expendables, but
Yeah.
Sly's Expendables. Yeah, he's a fucking what's it called? Smart ass. I forgot what he actually does now, but he's got like
is he?
the
That's
dude that
interesting.
plays the boxer is actually like a because
Really
he
intelligent.
plays the old numbnut character in
Expendables.
Yeah.
But I was about to jump on board with the.
Oh, John Rhys Davies, Gimli, graduate from UEA.
well, no wonder he ain't got much.
I was about to
fun
jump in
behind
with what you were saying about the battering ram and the art department making the door too strong. Well, there's a funny story about Brian Blessed in Blackadder that he's meant to break through a door in one of the scenes and he actually bursts through the wrong door. He smashes his way through a set door that wasn't meant to be broken. So bashes his way through it, no problem. It's just like that door wasn't meant to be broken. He just smashed like a proper wooden door. You didn't even notice. Absolutely brilliant.
Brian Bless him,
I like
mate.
Ryan Blessed.
He's brilliant.
He's going to be a sad loss to the country when he goes.
Oh God, yes.
Don't talk it up.
Everybody mocks him.
Live forever.
Yeah. I'm
Touch
off
wood.
myself when Brian Blessed goes. Fucking hell.
Right, shall we end?
Yeah, that is the end of the podcast.
We ended about 5 minutes ago, so thank you very much for watching.
It was all so we could fit that anecdote about Brian Blessed in. That was all
Yeah.
it was for.
Thank you very much for watching. I've been the Suffolk Crown.
I've been barred
Skazz.
See you guys
from
in the
most
fortnight.
pubs in the country.
What a bunch of poor travellers.